Hey guys, what's going on? F5 my pawn here, and welcome back to Across the Obelisk. Since we last left off, we did our first part with Grukli, Gustav, Zek, and Malukah, who is a rage build mixed with sharpness alongside dark focus. For this stream, we are going to continue that run, and hopefully we get a success out of this, because we've been dying for one of those for quite a while. But I digress. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's begin. We are in Madness 4 right now. Not Madness Tier 4, but we are at Madness Level 4, so we do have that advantage going for us. As for where we're gonna go, honestly, just to change things up, because I don't want to go through the Croc event again, I'm just going to take the most direct route. So what I'm going to go for is I'm going to go to the East Path, go to the Croco-Men Mafia, and I'm going to take a boat down to the temple access here, and go to the main temple, and just take the shortest route, because I'd rather take this time just to be quick about it. So we're going to take the east path and go our merry way to the main temple, because I've never been there before, let alone to the epic event that's there. Alright, we could get ourselves a diamond card if we sacrifice the use of spells. Honestly, I love the second wind, but it's not worth going through the suffering of the corruption here, because suffering dark and insanity is just painful. Especially when it starts stacking up like crazy. Yes, these guys are only focused on bleed, but if we play too much spells, it's only going to get worse for us. Although, do I want to take that risk? Because there is also an exotic shop. Nah. Let's not be risky. Let's just focus on winning. That's the more important bit here. Besides, we'll get plenty of healing as we go on, so no need to push ourselves beyond our limits, after all. Okay, we're gonna go Song of Celerity. Let's see. We are going to want to go Power Slave here. Yeah. Power Slave. We won't be able to get the Eternal Lullaby, but we can get Melodic Rhythm, and we'll get Stealth for Gustav. Just so he isn't discovered just yet. For Grukli, we can have him go with Entrench and just beef up everybody just somewhat. If we want to, that is. Or we can go for the Taunt, which would focus everybody on him instead. Which is actually really tempting. You know what, I've got a better idea. We'll Blood Rage here, so that way we get 7 mana. That way we can do Entrench and Provoke. So we're getting the best of both worlds. As for Blood Feeding, while we can't do anything with it, we can still try and target somebody with it. We do suffer some damage, but that is unavoidable given the circumstances. As for what we're going to do, we are going to go with Deeper Darkness to double the target's darkness values, but not before using Cursemancy here, and then using Deep Darkness here. That'll deal a ton of damage. We can get the Curse of Shadows off as well, so we'll target... Let's go with the highest HP target, and then we can use Black Death for free. Hello, Barlow. Zombie would be technically considered a ghoul, so yes, you can play that. As for people who are wondering, I at times run a D&D group for people, so yeah, that's the thing. Okay, we're gonna boost up Malukah. No, we're gonna boost up Gustav first instead. That way we can get a Prayer of Healing off to get some recovery going. We will also throw down a Renew for Grukli. Get him some juicy recovery before we do Malediction. Get some nice dark buffer. Yeah, you're fine to make a ghoul if you want. You can flavor it as a ghoul, it's just going to be treated as a zombie, Barlow. But there are ways to change it, so. that'll be something for the near future. But I digress. As for our deck, we're not going to... Well, I guess we could grab a Scroll of Intellect. That's pretty good. But I don't exactly want to fill my deck too high, because that's usually our problem. So we're going to get cards here, or rather shards. For our Bard, we'll just get shards. We will get Stockade, because that does provide vitality. And is technically a Thorns buffer, so I'm not going to complain there. But we'll get shards for the last one, and we'll go from there. At the North Pier, you meet a gang of well-armed crockermen. When you approach one of them, he says, "Hello, travelers. As you can see, we run this place, and if you want to use a boat, you'll have to pay us 1,000 gold. We do not accept discounts, but we could make a deal with something of the same value. We have the cheapest boats here, so don't bother going to the South Pier, though boats there are more expensive." Alright. We can offer our golden hair if we wish. We can offer the emeralds. But no, we're going to go with the Bard option. Gustav takes you to a secluded spot, away from the crockermen. Behind the bushes, he shows you a small boat he is hidden. And for the temple access, we are left with a rare shop or an upgrade altar, if we want to go that route. I think the more important bit is getting a rare shop, so honestly, I think we can tolerate the powerful this round. Although, it is a 20% boost, isn't it? That slowly increases over the course of rounds. I mean, we do clear them out in 2 rounds, so it's not that bad, but we'll have to hope it's not going to be even worse than before. Let's just hope it doesn't get too nasty, basically. Yeah, as I'm worried, the big damage output's going to be a concern. But we'll see, we'll see. We'll do a Song of Celerity, so we're at least a little faster than the others. We can then do a Melodic Rhythm, follow up with a Power Slave to get some buffer going, and we'll do a Shadow Step, so Gustav is safe from any danger. We can do a Demoralizing Shout without too much trouble, and we can also follow up with a Cleave, which is going to be nice. In fact, we might as well do that. We're going to go Demoralizing Shout, we'll throw down his Steel Skin, get a Blood Rage going, get some more armor for Grukli, and then we'll cleave everybody for some speed. That'll be nice. Okay, with that, the darkness scaling is going to be really nasty here. But all the better because Deep Darkness does a lot of damage, so that's enough to near kill everybody. Now, I can either choose to kill one or just send one to death. I think it's in our best interest to Nightmare here, if only to take one of these guys out. I'm definitely not going to be taking out the Hypno Crab, though. And besides, we got Malukah coming in, so we're going to go Tome of Intellect here instead. Just so we have some more card draw to work with, to a degree. Okay, let's see. We got Unholy Storm, so this came at the perfect time. We will use this. That'll clear out one enemy. We'll get Healing Rain, so we get some regeneration. We will toss a Vile Lance over to the Hypno Crab, I'd say. That'll bring him near death. We'll grant some buffer to Grukli, just so he isn't dying. But hey, not bad. I was not wrong to get the Empower active here. It's saving us quite a lot of trouble. That said, now they're getting to powerful at 30%, which is not fun. Alright, we should be at... Yep, we're at stanza 1, not stanza 3. Oh, no, wait, we're at stanza 2. That's my mistake. But it does give us Healing Serenade, which is something that we really would have wanted. So that'll give us some buffer for healing. Give us a reason to use Ballad of Conquest, no less. And then we can follow up with Vitalizing Serenade, which will give us even more buffer, and even some HP to boost. We will go with a Scroll of Intellect, and we will give it to the next best character, Zek, who will benefit to no end, I suspect, from it. Alright, Zek. We're gonna go with Darkness Falls here, but not before using Cursemancy here, just so we can start reducing card costs. There we go. That'll clear most of the enemies, and then we can use Black Death here. And that'll just spam on him. And then we can follow up with Makula, who will follow up with a bunch of healing, it seems. But not a bad thing entirely. We'll get a quick heal going, and that should be good. We'll get Grukli to finish off the Hypno Crab with a Furious Slash. And there we go. For our troubles, we managed to get ourselves another expendable Blood Rage, but it's a purple card, which is not bad at all, mind you. So I think we'll grab the Blood Rage. Let's see. We could grab another Whispering Lies if we wish, but I'm probably going to avoid that in favor of just getting more shards. We can go for the upgraded Book of Nightmares, so I'm probably going to grab one of those to add to our Darkness deck. And we'll just grab shards for the last one. No need to overextend ourselves after all. For every bleed charge you apply 1 poison. That is a perfect change from the gold chain. So we're going to buy the Virulent Ring for Grukli, who utilizes bleed like crazy. We could get another coin and make our damage or our costs even more cheap, which wouldn't be that bad in the slightest. We would have to replace it with something, so I guess we could replace the Ninja Scroll and see if that would make it a 40% reduction. Which wouldn't be bad, honestly. Let's go for it. You never know, after all. We do get the Boots of Swiftness. We got an Aquamarine bracelet. Let's see. Combat start, gain 1 energize. We could get the Scryer Staff. For every sight charge you apply 1 burn. We don't have anything that applies sight charges, though, which is the issue. Let's see. We could go with the Red Steel Cloak, which will give a boost to resistance. So it wouldn't actually be bad for anybody that we give it to. It's just a question of who we give it to. Veteran Armor is 15-15. Brigand Armor is 10-12-1. 10-12-1. So I think we either give it to Zek or Makula. I think I'm going to give it to... I'm going to give it to Zek, I think. At the very least, it'll make him immune to Mark, so all the better. Alright. I guess we can also give him the Aquamarine Bracelet in favor of the Resistance, because energy is something he desperately needs. Or he's always going to need, I should say, specifically. As for the other items, we'll leave those alone. Although, if I can, I'd like to get a replacement for the Ragged Doll at this point. To a certain degree, anyways. Alright, to the main temple. You arrive at the central temple. Here you find many Nagas, the old, the young, and the wounded. Although they see you, most of them are more concerned about what is in the depths of the water. As you approach, 4 veteran Naga appear to you and say to you, "We don't want any trouble, so we'll let you pass and give you this huge ruby, in exchange for leaving us alone. We're even willing to teach one of you a unique Naga combat skill." It's hard to say no. Who will be the lucky one? Alright, we can either, we could give everybody an anti-magic field, which will give 3 buffer and 1 insulate, which technically is... which is quite good. We could also get Dark Miasma if we give it to, yeah, if we give it to Zek. We could also get the Abyssal Sonata for Gustav. Or we can go with Merciless, which will draw 1, dispel any Sanctify, and gain 4 rage. The only thing we haven't unlocked is Merciless, so it might actually be a pretty good idea to get that for boon, if only for the unlock. We're gonna go with Merciless. Grukli lunges at the 4 veteran Nagas, who are wounded, and start beating them. You have no choice but to join him. When the fight is over, you'll take the ruby with you. But hey, that's not bad. We'll get Grukli a nice new card, something is unlocked, and we can continue on with our merry life. Although Anti-Magic Field would have been a nice buffer card for everybody, but it's fine, it's fine. We're gonna go with Song of Celerity, Vitalizing Serenade for a buffer of HP, and we will follow up with the Ode of War on Grukli, just in case. We'll end our turn there, and now we go for Zek, who will follow up with... I think we go Cursomancy here to start with. Then we use Darkness Falls, I suppose? No, wait, first? Yeah, we'll use Darkness Falls first. Then we will follow up with Evocation here to get enough mana to cast Deep Darkness, and use that to completely demolish the enemy. In 1 round, no less, which is surprising, but quite nice. Okay, for this, we're gonna go with... First, we're gonna go with Thousand Needles. Then we'll go for a Blood for Blood, targeting the one in the very back. We can go with a Reckless Charge here to get a strike off. We'll get rid of Blood Feeding for this. And then we'll follow up with another Reckless Charge to get the kill. So we got a ton of rage going. Enough to deal 51% of our damage, no less. We shall use Detoxify to get rid of the poison, at least. We will then use Innervate here to boost up the mana for Gustav next turn. I guess we can do Malediction here, and we will focus on the Spellbinder next. Not a lot, but we can do Healing Rain twice to get our regeneration up much higher. And now we wait. Okay, Makula's out of regeneration, which sucks, but that's fine. We can just get some healing for her. As for what we do here, we're going to follow up with... Let's go Steel Skin, follow up with a Cleave, then Intercept twice with Makula, because Gustav is not that bad off, and I can tolerate some damage coming to me. Until then, we're going to use Shadow Binding to lock them into place. And I guess we'll use Book of Nightmares on Gustav, perhaps? No, let's use it on Makula, because she uses it a lot. We'll end our turn and hope that Makula has enough healing to recover somewhat. And we'll see how things play out. We'll go with Mass Dispel to start with. We will then Vitalize like crazy. And I guess we'll do a Recurring Nightmare here. There we go. That'll do. Not the best heal, but it works. Okay. We've got ourselves a Demolishing Blow if we want to use it, which applies Crack and Vitality, which isn't bad. Got Overpower if we want it, but I don't think we need it, is the issue. So we'll just get Shards here. We can get Eternal Lullaby if we wish. It is an AoE, That is for certain, and we do have one already. But I don't think we need to focus in on it, so we'll just get shards here. Do we need Curse of Vulnerability? Another one wouldn't hurt. Yeah, we've already got one. And having two certainly wouldn't be a bad idea, but we've already got plenty of cards. We don't need to go way ham into it. But we can give Omen of Peril to... yeah, we can give it to Malukah. Give her the Omen of Peril and take out healing spells from her Vanish pile. Is pretty good. You're at the top of the falls, and the view from here is spectacular. You can clearly see the obelisk and the ancient Naga temples along the waters of the falls. Although you are already close to the obelisk, you see that the path that remains will not be easy, so it's better to take advantage of this small moment of calm to regain strength. Rest before descending the waterfall. We can choose to get some healing done, we can get a forge done, or it can actually heal. I'm not too worried about Gustav and Malukah. They'll heal up before we hit the boss, most likely. So we're going to forge. At least that's what I believe is going to happen. We get low self-esteem, though, because the roll is just so poor. You go down the stairs of the temple, but they start to flood because of the waterfall. At some point, you underestimate the power of the water current and begins to carry you away. A few meters away from you, there is a great waterfall of Aquafall. You cannot afford to fall down it. You will end up dead. Now you can only improvise how to get out the water, unless one of you prepared in advance. We can either swim, or we can go with Grukli, or we can go with Gustav. We're gonna go with Grukli. And yeah, Grukli has lived in this area for some time and knows the water current. Before entering the water, he warned you to follow him to avoid danger. So yeah, we can just save our skins because of Grukli. As for the temple, it appears that Ironclad is an option if we wish to remove some cards. But honestly, we don't need more resistance buffers going on them. That just makes our job harder. That is a nasty buffer to give them. Especially when they already got 70 physical resistance. Which is already nasty enough as it is. Okay, we're gonna go Song of Celerity so we get faster. We can follow up with a Melodic Rhythm. Power Slave. We can go with an Ode of War for Gustav just for now. And Shadow Step. Just to save his own hide. But at the very least, the healing's nice, so that is going to be a benefit regardless of what we do. We will start with a Steel Skin here. Let's see. I guess we could go, X equals your discard pile times 0.5. So yeah, we need to start using cards first before we do this. So we're going to go for a Blood for Blood. We will target... let's target the fastest one, I suppose. We'll do a quick cleave here. Throw with Vigorous Fury to get some buffer for the Fury going. And get a Strike of Reckless Charge going. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, with this, we can then use Endless Abyss immediately if we wish. We will be using all of our mana though, so that is something to keep in mind. But it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, if only for high damage values. That leaves Malukah, who will use Malediction on one of the monsters. We'll use it on the frontmost monster, because that is the focus right now. We can then throw down a Renew for Grukli. We can get Healing Rain, Anthem of Hope, and then throw down an Omen of Peril to get yet another Renew. Even though it's one cost, we'll still retain the spell, which is nice. Alright. That's not fun. Damage is coming out like crazy. Makulah's got silence, which is not good. But we can use Gustav to heal as much as we can. And thankfully, the Ballad of Conquest seems to be one of those things. Okay, we're gonna throw down an Adrenaline. We'll do a Ballad of Conquest. Get a ton of going. And we can do a Whispering Lies to get some more damage output out. We'll focus on you, the Warden. And while I would love to use Ballad of Evasion, I can't just yet. So that is just gonna have to wait. Alright, and with that, it's Grukli next, who will use Blood Rage to start out with. He will then use Entrench here to give everybody a buffer. We'll then Transfuse to get some more blood off. And we're going to beef up Makulah just in case, and go from there. Not the best results, but it's better than nothing. Alright, we're going to go with a Shadow Binding, I suppose, today. Or at least for this one. That way everybody is locked down. We can then follow up with a Dark Ritual. And I guess boost up the the mana of Makulah. And hopefully she can at very least provide some healing, which is kind of needed here. But no, she won't be able to. The most she can do is a Mass Spell, which is pretty good. In fact, it gets rid of her silence, so all the better. We're going to go with a Prayer of Healing. That'll get some health back at least. And now she is stuck at a very low initiative, except for when she uses a speed skill, which puts them at the top of the initiative. Which does suck, but yeah, whatever. Alright. Now it's our turn. We're gonna go with Furious Slash here. Get some big damage out. We will then throw down a Barricade. It's not the best result, but it still covers everybody. We are going to then go with a Curse of Decay. Or do we go with something else? We're going to go with... Yeah, we're going to go Curse of... No, we're going to go Curse of Vulnerability here. Alright, that leaves Gustav, who will pump out some crazy healing, no less. Okay, we're gonna go with Healing Serenade. And we'll throw down Vitalizing Serenade, after Vitalizing Serenade, after Song of Quickness, which will make us even faster for next turn. We can throw down some Meditates next. We can get a Yin Ritual active. Before we throw down an Innervate, we can Detox to make Grukli feel a bit better. And now we are back, we're on round 4, who will now clear up everything that we have to worry about. With a Vitalizing Serenade to follow suit. End our turn there. And Grukli should be able to finish both of them off. Assuming things go well, that is. We will go with a Blood Feeding here. Repetition Training. We'll get another Blood Feeding pulled out to get the kill there. And Reckless Charge to follow suit. And that's the clear. Alright, we can either go for a Ballad of Evasion, which isn't that bad, or we can go for something like Sweet Melody or Vitalizing Serenade again. We're gonna go for the Ballad of Evasion. We've got plenty of them, we might as well just keep getting them, because having Evasion never hurts. We could go with another Darkness Falls. It certainly doesn't hurt, but I'd rather, if I had the choice, get another Deep Darkness. Because Deep Darkness is just overall better, in my opinion. But before the boss, we have leveled up. For what we can choose, we can either go with Dual Wield, or Red Storm for Grukli. As for what we are going to ultimately go for, We're gonna go for Red Storm, I think. It will increase our bleed charges, which we have quite a bit of, and something we rely on heavily. And it will just make our bleed even worse that we deal. Dual wield is nice, but not necessarily what we need. So we're gonna go Red Storm here. For Gustav, we can either go for an Encore or Ethereal Weapons. Ethereal Weapons will transform our damage into mind damage, and every turn it puts an Ethereal Knives into our hand, and lasts for 3 uses. For Encore, we basically just duplicate a spell and make it cost 0. That is good if we want to throw down even more buffer for everybody. So Encore is very powerful, as opposed to Ethereal Weapons, which provides more AoE than anything. We're going to go Encore. For Zek, we've got Infestation or Death's Embrace. While I do love the idea of cold damage, it's just not powerful enough to utilize yet. So we're going to go Infestation, so that way we can get Plague Rats, which will apply Darkness and Poison. Plus it will transfer curses, so it's not bad. As for Makula, we've got the choice of Vaccine or Love Enhancer. So for Vaccine, healing received is +2, and every turn apply 6 darkness to all monsters. And we can gain 4 regeneration and 2 buffer as a plus. This will last for 3 uses though. For Love Enhancer, when we play a healing spell, for every energy used, all hero gain Vitality. Now this may not seem powerful, but if you are spec'd in Vitality, it's pretty decent. Because not only will it stack up Vitality for everyone, but if you got a tank that you want to use Vitality for, it's just juicy. For this instance though, I think we want to go Vaccine because applying the darkness is more important than anything right now. But I guess we could do Love Enhancer if we really wanted to. No, we're gonna go Vaccine. It's just a little bit better in my opinion. Alright. And with that, we go to Lurking in the Water. To reach the obelisk, you have to cross a pond of water. When you approach, you see something moving underneath. Suddenly, 4 snake-shaped heads appear. It's a Hydra. Each head looks a little different from the rest, and you take some time to name them according to their characteristics. Since it doesn't move, you can decide how to position yourself and choose which head you want to stand in front of to fight first. If you do not attack immediately, the Hydras will have time to prepare. As for our choice, we could either rest or we can choose a head to fight against. I've chosen Malice to start with, so we're going to go with Arrogance this time. You position yourself in such a way that the head you call Arrogance is in front of the others. By choosing to quickly engage Arrogance, the Hydra only has time to prepare itself by improving its elemental defenses. So, while it is elemental resistant, we don't use enough elements to worry about, so all the better that we do this way. Yay, Arrogance is stealthed up though, and we want to get rid of Scorn as quickly as we possibly can if we can, but we shouldn't rush things, is what I'm gonna say. We'll get the speed going, we'll get Vitalizing Serenade, and we'll go Shadow Step to start with for Gustav, so he's less of a target. Grukli is next, however. And for what we're going to do for him, I think it's in our best interest to Blood Rage to start with, get ourselves a ton of mana. We are going to... I think we Rampage and Reckless Charge. Well, we'll start with Rampage first. Then we'll Vigorous Fury to get ourselves a buffer. We can't draw anything from our pile, so we'll just go with a Reckless Charge. So that'll be it. Okay, we're gonna go with Evocation here to get some more mana for Zek. We will then use Prismatic Field here. We will follow up with Curse of Vulnerability. And then do the Curse of Madness. So we start applying insanity buffs, which will slowly reduce their HP, actually, which is the important bit. Alright, we're going to go with Vaccine here. We will then use the Anthem of Hope, maybe? Or do we go something else? Well, for starters, we don't have to worry about the bleed, so that's half the HP concern less inclined. We could go for an Anthem of Hope to get some buffer going. And I might actually do just that. Yeah, we'll focus on healing first and getting ourselves in recovery state before we worry about any enemies. We can worry about the rest later. Alright, now they've activated Hydra Blood, which gains 10 regen and 20 HP, which is nasty. So if we leave them alive for long enough, they're just going to out-heal everything that we throw at them. So all the better to quickly kill them before things go awry. Perfect, we got Melodic Rhythm, we'll activate that. We'll then use Healing Serenade to start getting rid of debuffs. We'll use Vitalizing Serenade here to get some even more recovery. And we'll follow up with Whispering Lies to get some buffer going. Alright. Vaccine comes into play, but before... Well, no, it actually doesn't, but we can get Shadow Binding here to slow them down to a crippling crawl. And I might just do just that. Activate that so everybody's slow to high hell, or try to. Alright, we can go with a Curse of Decay if we wish, which will slow down healing at least. Or we go with the Recurring Nightmares, which I'm probably actually going to do. We'll also do a Dark Ritual here to give the Pula even more buffer to work with. We are down to 21 Dark Resistance, which is not good for Zek in the long run. But that's perfectly fine. We'll live. We'll throw down a Meditate, so we got some more mana to work with. We'll throw down a Healing Rain, because it's free. We will then use Condemnation. That way we get some even more dark buffer. We will throw down a Vitalize for Grukli, so he doesn't have to worry about the poison there. We'll do Omen of Peril to get into their Vitalize going. And we'll save that Vitalize for later. Alright, it appears Scorn's rather confident that he will win, but unfortunately for them, not the case. Not the case. Okay, for this we're going to want to go with... Yeah, we'll start with Red Storm. We'll follow up with Battle Shout to give everybody a buffer. We will then provoke Barricade, beef up Grukli, and if we can, Transfuse, but we're probably not going to pass up anything, as expected. But the poison, that is going to be nasty, so we should probably help Grukli as soon as we can. Because otherwise he may die. Thankfully his HP is like crazy, so it won't be that bad. But still, all the same. We're gonna have to get rid of some of the issues there. We'll first start off with Adrenaline for Gustav. We can then follow up with... Well, we'll do Eternal Lullaby next, but we'll start with Power Slave to increase his damage output. Then we'll do Eternal Lullaby to increase the damage there and reduce their HP. We will follow up with an Ode of War on Grukli, and a Song of Quickness to give ourselves a quick boost of speed. As Grukli suffers... Well, he doesn't suffer poison just yet, but all the same, we're reaching that point where it might be a concern. We'll sacrifice the Blood Rage here to get a Entrench going. Get another Entrench so we can get the Reckless Charge off. There we go. We suffer some significant damage. We are at death's door with Grukli, but that's fine. We should be able to heal most of it. It's just a question of whether we can or not. But hey, that is why we have multiple uses of Black Death going. We will give the mana to Makula here, and we'll start using Black Death, and just start popping on everybody. We're popping off on everybody, just so we get even more buffer going. Unfortunately, yeah, Hatred is avoiding most of it, but that's fine. Alright, Malukah. We're going to do a meditate to draw something. We've got a master spell perfectly inclined. We're going to use... yeah, we're going to use master spell first. Then we will follow up with the Yin ritual, which will follow in tune with malediction. We'll do a healing range just so we got some more recovery. We'll use the vitalize, and then we will follow up with... we'll save the recurring nightmare actually, because we need more mana for that. Okay, we're nearly, we've nearly killed Scorn, if it means anything. Most of the damage seems to be within kill range, so all the better for us. Okay, we're gonna do Encore here, I think, to double down on Vitalizing Serenade here. Because having multiple uses of that is just going to help us beef up. If only, yeah, if anything, the Vitality just helps immensely. Alright, we've taken out Scorn, so that is not a worry anymore. We do have Recurring Nightmare and Deep Darkness if we wish to use those. I think it's in our best interest to use Deeper Darkness now, though, because that will deal some immense damage. End our turn, and that will leave Malukah, who now has to focus on the two taunted individuals here. We can detox, but that's... we honestly don't need it. We are instead going to use Healing Rain. We're going to Prayer of Healing here. And I think we Violence... yeah, we'll Violence Hatred. Get his Darkness buffer going. And just in case, we're going to detox just Malukah, just in case we need the buffer. And yeah, that leaves Grukli, who will follow up with some crazy amounts of damage, most likely, knowing him. Okay, we're gonna go with... yeah, we're gonna want Furious Slash. We'll go Cleave, and we will buffer up with Grukli. There we go. Get some nice juicy bleed in alongside Poison, which is a plus. Okay, for Gustav, gonna throw down the Ode of War. We can do a Shadow Step Whispering Lies, actually, so we'll do that. That'll deal even more damage. End it off there. They're gonna try and do stuff. Yeah, he's gonna Submerge, making himself invulnerable. Yeah. So we won't be able to target Malice just yet, which does suck, but it'll give us a chance to prep some other stuff that we can use. There we go. It'll give us a chance to use Infestation and Cursomancy at its fullest extent. For now, though, we just need a cure and get ready for the next round. Get Vitality going. There we go. We can't target him, so the next best thing is we can start with Grudge here. We can then follow up with Infuriate, so we got maximum charges on Fury, which is technically 125 damage instead of 75, but who knows. Regardless, Malice is now vulnerable to any attacks that we deal with him, so that's good. For now, though, what we're going to do is we're going to do the Healing Serenade, Ballad of Evasion. We will then do the Eternal Lullaby here. That'll give us a chance to use Song of Quickness, and Ode of War, if we wish to use it, which we will on Grukli. Why not? Because healing never hurts. Okay, now for Malice. Okay, we're gonna go for the... I think it's in our best interest to use the Curse of Decay here. That'll give us an additional Plague Rats. And yeah. Curses up the wazoo, I guess. If we go Battle Shout, we'll get rid of Poison if we wish. But I think it's in our best interest to just reckless charge, get rid of repetition training. We'll get rid of stockade this way as well. And victory. Nice. Okay, we can get ourselves a provoke, we can get ourselves a devastate. I think we're gonna go devastate though. Strictly because it's a repeat up to. And having the constant bleed is not a bad thing. So grab the devastate here. We can grab another adrenaline if we wish for Gustav. It's not a prime focus though, to be honest. So yeah, we're probably just going to grab more adrenaline, just so Gustav has more chances to cast spells and whatnot. We're going to grab the Cursenomicon though, because having more curses to draw from is always nice. So that's Zek sorted. And Makula, while I do love everything here, Baptism, while nice, we still need to apply Wet, which we don't even apply to begin with. Baptism is best used when you have a water deck going, which we don't. So we're just gonna get shards and be done with it. After a hard fight, you manage to defeat the 4 heads of the Hydra. Now that you can advance, you discover a large golden chest behind one of the columns. You can cross the pond safely and reach the obelisk. Inside the chest, you find a lot of gold and magic objects. You also plunder the Hydra's body, finding magic shards and valuable components. For our troubles, we managed to get the Hydra egg, which is something we're going to give to Makula, because she applies so many regeneration charges that it kind of warrants her to grab it. Although that said, I could probably also give the same thing to Gustav, and he would be none the wiser, because he does apply these regeneration charges to everybody, which is applied multiple times, no less. It's hard to say. It really is a mix. I'm gonna go with Makula though, because while we do sacrifice the 8 to a random monster with her Dark Sting, it's reached that point where it's just not... It's not worthwhile to grab. We can get Steadfast Shield, but honestly, nobody uses defenses at this point, so it's kind of useless. Ah, the Faith Ring though. Ooh. Alright, hold on. Let's restart. We're instead going to give the Faith Ring to Makula. We can get the Titan Gauntlet, which will be immune to disarm. And every turn we'll get 3 powerful, so it's not that bad. We will be sacrificing our defenses from Grukli, but considering we're very offensive as of late, I don't think it's going to be a worry. Plus the HP is going to do us more favors, I think. Although that said, that 20 resistance is hard to pass up. No. We can't be doing that. We'll give the Faith Ring to Makula. Hydra Egg is going to go to Gustav, even if we have to sacrifice the Royal Coin. Let's see. I mean, we could go with the Frost Guard instead, but again, that resistance loss sucks. Let's see. For every stealth charge you have, apply 1 sharp. We don't get stealth, is the issue. So yeah, I think Grukli and Zek are out of luck. But hey, you are in front of the obelisk. This is your 3rd obelisk, but one is different from the other 2. The energy that emanates from it is much greater, and the runes shine with much more intensity. With difficulty, you read the obelisk runes aloud. The ground shakes and the obelisk wall warps. This time, a very large portal is created. A blinding white light comes out of the large portal, but it seems harmless. There's only one place to go. The end of your quest is near. You cross the portal, and before you realize it, you're already in another place. Although they have been accustomed to crossing the obelisks, this time, the sensation has been somewhat different. When they looked around, they were astonished. Endless clouds and ancient ruins floated around them. Where were they? Certainly this place could not be reached on foot, or in any normal way. The group could feel how intense the magic was, and without a doubt, this had to be Lord Hanshek's goal with the obelisks. On the horizon, they saw a large staircase rising above the clouds. That was where the group had to go to find out what Lord Houndcheck was up to. And now, we have a few choices. We can either go to the topmost Sacred Forge, which we are going to go to, or we could go to the Lost Merchant. If I can, I'd like to get as much purchase power as possible going at this point. We'll have to see what we end up running into, but we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, we're going to do a quick few upgrades. We're going to go with the Detoxify for anyone. We could go with the Global Healing Rain if we so desire. I don't think we need to, though, but it's hard to say. Alright, we got Condemnation, Mass Dispel, Prayer of Healing. Protection from Evil is a nice spell if we can get it off. Honestly, I'm half... You know what? Let's make it an expendable one. I'd rather that than anything else. Just make our deck smaller as we go on. Okay, this Ballad of Evasion we can upgrade to become another Stanza 3 item. Although... You know what? No. We're going to make it a All Heroes... We're going to make it a Stanza 2, while we have this one be a Stanza 2 as well. Because that will make it easier to pull off, basically. So we're going to keep it to Stanza 2, make sure it stays, essentially. Because that's what's going to dictate whether we can use it or not. We can also make this Eternal Lullaby a Stanza 1+ as well, if we wish. Make it easier to cast. It will be 5 cost, though. Which does suck. We'll keep it as is. Grukli, we're going to actually upgrade your stuff. Let's see. Do we want Fury or do we want Powerful? We're going to go with Fury, naturally. And we're going to go with the upgrade here for Bleed and all that. So we're going to grab that. Provoke, we want to be 1 cost. Infuriate, we want to triple our Rage, if we can. I'm probably going to get rid of the Intercepts at this point, because they are only adding to our deck. So we'll remove those Intercepts. We don't need a Transfusion. It's been useless for us most of the run. Blood for Blood is nice, but not necessarily needed. But it's still something that we can utilize if we want. Zek, is there anything we want to get rid of from you? I guess we do have the Book of Nightmares 3 times. We're going to go for the Recurring Nightmare, obviously. Because naturally that's just a good choice for us. Let's see, do we need anything removed from his deck, though? That is a question. Not really. Makula is basically the same. We've pretty much got what we want here. Okay, I think it's time to go to the armory and see what we got. For every dark charge you apply 1 poison. That is going to be a lot better than the Aquamarine Bracelet, most likely. It's basically additional damage, so that's not bad. So we will grab this. We can grab the Golden Harp and reduce the cost of our highest cost spell card in our hand by 1. But I'm going to abstain from it. Really, I would love to give Gustav a weapon, but there is nothing that really fits him just yet. So it's just been a challenge trying to find him something. There is Samurai Armor, though, so that's nice. Let's see. 20 HP, all resistances plus 10. When you evade, deal 10 slashing damage, apply 2 poison. I mean, it's nice, but it's only when we're using evasion, which we don't use a lot. I mean, that'd be a very good thing for Gustav, technically. But at the same time, we'd need to use stealth quite a lot. Gustav doesn't use any ranged attacks, neither does anybody else, so everything else here is pretty useless, to a degree. I could apply Sight to all monsters with the Clairvoyant spell. Let's refresh, see if we get anything better. Alright, for every poison charge we apply 1 bleed. We got another red steel cloak, which is actually really good upgrade for Malukah, so we'll grab that. There is also the Terror Ring, which for every insanity... Yeah, it's basically the same thing we got there. For every vitality charge we apply 1 thorns. Every turn, gain 1 thorns and cast Quill Rain. Amulet speed is okay, but not what we need. Yeah. We're only getting so much. Can we reroll again? Let's see if we get anything better. Bloodguard, Bloodstone. When we apply bleed, recover 2 HP. That is way better than the Elven Quiver, so we're gonna grab that. Because Grukli occasionally applies bleed, and that would be the perfect healing item for him. Golden Bell. When you heal a hero, apply Bless. I think that is a Malukah thing, honestly. We could also go with the Yin Yang badge, which is actually really nice. For every dark charge you apply 1 Sanctify. Yeah, no, this is definitely going to Malukah instead. We'll give that to Malukah. We have the Destroyer Gauntlet if we wish. We can either go with the Berserker Claws or something else. But honestly, I'm fine with what we got. Although, if we want the Yin Yang badge, the Chalice of Kings would actually be really nice. Do we give Bless, is the question. That's a good question. If it were Darkness, I'd definitely consider it more. I'm not sure. I mean, we do apply 2 charges of Bless, technically. And Sanctify is beneficial, but... I guess the 2 regeneration only applies to Malukah, though. I gotta keep in mind. And the heal done +3 isn't bad, I don't think. It would help Malukah, I think, with her abilities, so we'll grab it just in case. Other than that, I think we are set up as much as we possibly can, and we'll go from there. But before we do, let's see if there's anything we want to do first. Okay, we can either make burns or keeps. Honestly, at this point, I'm probably just going to burn the Blood Rages. Yeah, we'll make the Blood Rages burn. I'm fine with losing the Blood Rage, to be honest. We're going to keep Blood for Blood because it's a good dispel in an off chance that we use Blood Rage. Let's see. Devastate is nice. Reckless Charge is fine. Okay, I'm good. Okay, is there anything else I want to grab before we leave? Because this is the last chance I'm going to get, I do believe, before we, you know, go into murdering everything. Or trying to, anyways. Let's see. Exploit openings is interesting, but not necessary. Butchering's a good bleed card if we wish to go that route. I'd prefer something with bleed and rage, though, if I can help it. Which is probably going to be unlikely. At least that's what I expect anyways. Cleave is always nice, but not necessary. Push forward's initiative booster, which is not needed. Okay, and rage is also an option if we wish to get some card draw going as well. But I don't think I need to worry too much about that. Besides, there is something I want to grab, actually. You never know, we might actually need it, so we're gonna grab Grinding Wheel, I think. It's an odd choice of a card, but it's hard to pass up, considering what it can do for us. We're gonna go for the self-grind, and that's as much as we can actually purchase, because we've only got 174 shards. So not that great, but hey, it's fine. We are ready to go. We are going to take the northernmost path to get to the Sacred Forge here. And you know, it's a common route we take, and we don't take the southern route much. But there is a reason I'm going to the northern path, and it's because of these obsidian ingots, specifically. Thorn proliferation is just too hard to deal with, so we're not going to. Instead, we're just going to focus on the enemies and see what we do. Alright. We are going to throw down a Song of Celerity here. We will prepare the Encore for next turn. Because who knows what I'm going to get into next turn, but we'll see. Okay, we're going to throw down a Red Storm here. That way we can, I guess we're going to go with Vigorous Fury here. I guess we needed to spend a card, whatever. We'll use Cleave, get some bleed off. We'll then follow up with a Blood Feed on... I guess the one here, and then we'll Reckless Charge, get some big deeps going. We do suffer some poison and bleed, which does suck, because I do believe the ring that we have is currently working against us in that case. So I might actually have to get rid of, yeah, I might have to get rid of his ring, if I'm not careful. Okay, we're gonna go Curse of Vulnerability, maybe? Alright, let's go Scroll of Intellect, boost up Malukah's stats. Ah, perfect, we got multiple uses. We can go with Recurring Nightmare here, I suppose. We can only use 2 charges of its 4, or of its 3, so... So, yeah. So if we use 2, then we'll make it a 4-cost card. No, wait, no, hold on. If we use it, then we can't expend energy. There we go. Oh, great. Whatever. Alright, Black Death it is. Whatever. We'll just take as much darkness damage as we can. And now we got Malukah, who will follow up with whatever we can. We're going to start with a Meditate. We will then throw down a Malediction here. That'll bring the Vanguard to death. We will then follow up with a Mass Dispel, followed by a Vaccine, and as much Curative as we can provide. Alright, Zek appears to be in a rough spot, but that's perfectly fine. We should be able to micromanage quite well here. Most of everybody is probably going to die except for the Vanguard and Oddball here. We're going to go with Melodic Rhythm here. We can actually go Ode of War and multiply that, so that way we can give Grukli a buffer. We'll use Adrenaline here. Vitalizing Serenade, and then we will Whispering Lies over to the Oddball, I suppose. That'll bring Gustav to 7 mana, which will bring it back to 10 for next turn. Okay, they're gonna try and out-heal us, but unfortunately for them, we're really tough currently. We're gonna go with, I believe Demoralizing Shout is the best way to go, but first Grudge. Demoralizing Shout, then Steel Skin, before we follow up with really anything. I guess we'll go with the attack on the Gunner? No, we're gonna go with the Oddball again. Let the rage guide us, basically. Okay. We have a choice. We can either go for Darkness Falls, or we can go with Shadow Binding. Shadow Binding would certainly help our initiative and our attacks, so we'll do that first. We'll then follow up with a Curse of Exhaustion here. Then do the Tome of Intellect for everybody. That way we can get everybody's buffered up. Or everyone, rather, buffered up, I should say. Then we can do a Yin Ritual. We can go with another Healing Rain. We can vitalize, getting rid of Grukli's bleed as a concern. Then we follow up with the vitalize suit, get another buffer for Grukli, and we will go for another buffer. Because more HP for Grukli means basically less damage he's going to take from his poison, which is going to be a very nasty amount at this rate. Alright. Ballad of Conquest. A never-ending story would be nice. We'll just pump that like crazy, so that way they just die. And there we go. That's a proper wave clear. Okay, we're gonna grab... I don't think we grab anything? Yeah, no, we're not grabbing anything. We'll just grab shards worth of stuff. We could grab another Ode of War, but I'm not too hard-pressed on grabbing it. You arrive at some ruins full of piles of rubble and worn objects. It seems that this place is an old warehouse. After investigating a bit, you see 4 piles that might contain some objects that are still in good condition. With some luck, you might find something truly unique. You don't have time to remove the rubble and investigate all the piles, so you'll have to decide on one of them. Which pile do you investigate? Alright, we can either get ourselves a weapon, we could get ourselves some armor, we could get our ring, or a potion. I think we are either going to go with the armor or potion. I'm going to prioritize the weapon, though, honestly, because Gustav really needs something. Although, I guess we could prioritize armor as an option. But no, we're going to go for the weapon pile, I think. Well, yeah, weapon pile. Let's see how lucky we are. You have found a truly ancient and unique object. For our troubles, we managed to get ourselves a Holy Grail. It increases healing done by 4. We get an additional charge from Bless and Sanctify. And when we heal a hero, we apply 1 Vitality. So, we're going to grab the Holy Grail, actually. For, yeah. Okay, the Holy Grail will grant us, yeah, it will apply 2 Vitality instead of 1, but all the same, a very powerful artifact to use. Alright, Sacred Ground we are not going to use, so we're just going to move on our mosey merry way and keep going. To be quite honest, I'm surprised Grukli has managed to get this far. So, I was right in doing some things, maybe wrong in some others, but we're doing well, so I'm not complaining. Gonna boost our initiative naturally. Follow up with Vitalizing Serenade. And we will Shadow Step just so we have some protection. And we'll save the Adrenaline for later, because we don't need it just yet, I don't think. We are then going to... Ooh, we could Devastate here. We could sacrifice Blood Rage here. Alright, let's... We could also double down, no less. But first, let's do the Devastate. We're going to target the Lancer in the very back, because I worry about him the most. Get his bleed up. We're going to Blood Rage again, I suppose. We'll Provoke to get some more Defensor going, and we'll just strike there, end our turn. We are now at 31 poison, which is not fun for Grukli. But it's not like we can do much to help him at this point. We're definitely going to have to get rid of his ring, though, at this rate. And goodness knows we need to make it quick. Okay, we're going to go Evocation here. We could go with the Curse of Nomicon, which is probably going to be the best choice here. We're going to Dark Ritual for Malukah, give him more healing, which Zek is not a fan of. We're going to go for the Drain Life here, get some more HP going before we throw down Black Death, and just send everybody to Oblivion using Dark. Alright, Malukah, what you got? You've got Vaccine, we'll use that immediately. We will follow up with Anthem of Hope. We will Detox. We will Renew for Zek. And Vitalize for Grukli, just so he gets some more buffer. But yeah, the healing's always nice. And now we wait. Okay, that's gonna have some nasty repercussions for damage, but we'll be fine. Alright. Ooh, we can do an encore. That's gonna be nice. We're gonna start with a... Let's start with a Ballad of Evasion. We will then use an encore here. Get a Healing Serenade going before we do another, and follow up with a Power Slave to deal a ton of damage. I would have loved to use the Never-Ending Story, but we'll have to wait on that. Alright. Oh, they've used it. They've used Stockade. That's not fun, but it's not like we got much of a choice here. We'll just have to reliably take them out one by one. We will start with Cursemancy here. Okay, we can follow up with Infestation if we wish, but I think it's in our best interest to use Endless Abyss. I think it brings us down low, but it's fine. Zek has some regeneration like crazy, so we'll be fine. We'll just meditate to follow suit. We'll use Condemnation here, I think. But not before we use Malediction here to take out one of them. And then use Condemnation here. And we can use Healing Rain. Follow up with a buffer on Grukli. And be done. And they'll die of poison, I think, so... Yeah. Poison and darkness, mainly. But yeah. That'll give us a chance to use Grudge here. We can use Infuriate, but we are left at a cap currently, so it'd be pretty pointless. Yeah. So Infuriate actually isn't the best choice for us at this point. We'll just go with Entrench here, and we'll Blood Feed. Get some HP. Not really, but whatever. They're gonna start attacking, try and retaliate, but to no avail, most likely. We'll just throw down an Ode of War on Grukli. We can use the Song of Quickness, but we're gonna rather use Adrenaline. Vitalizing Serenade like crazy. Whispering Lies. And I guess Song of Quickness just because we can. And now it's Grukli's turn. Who is probably just going to use Demoralizing Shouts and Reckless Charge. We'll get rid of Steel Skin for this. Get that active. Go for that. End our turn. Suffer some immense bleed, but that's fine. Grukli will be perfectly healed by the end. And that's it. As for what we get, we got plenty of things that we could benefit from. I think we go for Desperate Prayer, though, because it's reaching that point where we need the final spells for our deck. So we'll go grab Desperate Prayer. We could grab Poisonous Blood and double poison if we wish, because it's not that bad. At least in this instance. We'll grab Shards for this and this. Do we need Volley? Not really. We'll go with Poisonous Blood, though. Because you never know, it might actually be the saving grace that we need. You encounter the White Construct hitting an anvil with a hammer, and next to it you can see an inactive oddball. As you approach it, it says to you, "Fear not, I am a blacksmith who loves working with platinum. Right now I was trying to fix this oddball, but I lack another type of metal to fix its damaged dark side. I'm also very good at forging magical items, like this platinum ring that you can keep. But if you give me some kind of rare material, I'll make you something even more impressive. Do you have something he can use to forge an item?" Okay, so we have a choice between an obsidian dagger, a golden cloak, a ruby curious, or we can go with the emerald staff. So all four are options. Obsidian Dagger reduces the cost of the highest cost attack card in your hand by 3. The Golden Wool will make the Golden Cloak, which will make you immune to Sanctify, but apply Sanctify to other enemies. We could give the Ruby Curious, which will, if damaged by others, gain Vitality. Or we go for the Emerald Staff, which reduces the cost of your highest cost spell in your hand by 3 until discarded. I kind of wish we could use them all, but we can't, which sucks. I'm not sure what I can use to repair the Oddball, but it's fine. Okay, let's see. I lack another type of metal to fix its damaged dark side. I guess we go with the Obsidian Dagger. I think that's the most likely for it to be a, It is the most likely, I suspect. We could go with the Ruby Curious, Emerald Staff, but no, we're gonna go Obsidian Dagger. He takes the obsidian and starts forging a magical item. After a while, he gives you a finished magic dagger and a platinum ring. With the leftover obsidian, he forges a strange component that fixed the broken oddball. When activated, the oddball seems harmless and starts to follow you. The construct says goodbye and lets you keep the oddball. And that is how we get 3 items instead of 2. And we also get the shield generator buff, which will grant 4 shield for any time we have an Orby in our deck. The Orby he's an interesting one, but he's best used on anybody who grants shields. But first, before we do anything, I think it's in our best interest to give the Platinum Ring over to Grukli in place of the Virulent Ring. That's probably for the best. Alternatively, we go with the Obsidian Dagger, but I'm not sure. Reduce the cost of the highest cost attack in your hand by 3. It doesn't specify spell though, so we've got to choose the Platinum Ring or the Obsidian Dagger. I guess we'll have another chance to replace the Virulent Ring, so we'll go with the Obsidian Dagger here. We're gonna go with the Orby for... Well, do we go with the Orby? In this deck, it's not that good, but we can go with the Platinum Ring for somebody. Which I'm not going to give to anybody, to be honest. As much as I love the ring. We're just going to have to wait on it. Okay, we can get Pandemonium for free, or we can remove a card in our deck. We're not going to. Seems a bit too rough for us right now. But that's fine. We'll be fine. Okay, we're going to start with Song of Celerity as we usually do. Get our initiative buffer going. Follow up with Vitalizing Serenade. Give everybody some nice juicy vitality and regeneration buffer. Which is only going to stack more and more as we go on, no less. Okay, Devastate. Before we do that, we're going to use the Blood Rage here. We'll then focus on the Monk, who is going to be the biggest issue for us, I suspect. We'll then use Steel Skin. Or do we use Barricade? I'm going to go with Barricade here. And then Reckless Charge, just so we can get it off. But yeah, no, we need to get rid of that poison debuff. That's just going to be hellish for us at this rate. Okay, Cursomancy. We will then throw down a Book of Nightmares for Makula to use, if she wishes. We can use a Curse of Shadows here, or the Black Death. So yeah, I'm probably going to do that on the Monk. Follow up with Black Death next. There we go, that brings him to Death's Door. And even, we can throw down some Drain Life, which we can drain immediately from a Lancer, if we wish. I think the Gunner might be a better target, though. Just getting that reduction is always nice. Now for Makula. If we use the Vaccine, we then follow up with the Yin Ritual. We can then throw down a Regenerate for Gustav. And we can finally use the Vile Lance on the Gunner. And get even more damage output. That should do it. Okay, they're gonna strike as much as they can, but thankfully the poison is gonna be doing wonders for us at this rate. I guess Grukli isn't that bad with poison. It's just we don't have anything to cure the poison as much, so It's one of those glass cannon sorts of things going on. We're going to double the poison on the gunner, because he has the most, but unfortunately it doesn't work. Sucks to suck, but whatever. We will use Ballad of Conquest here. Melodic Rhythm. And be done with it. At the very least, the Conquest will give us Shard for everybody. So it means more buffer to work with. Not that we benefit from it, apparently. We'll go Red Storm, Vigorous Fury. We will Provoke, and follow up with a Reckless Charge. Lay down some bleed for the Lancer. And the damage comes in. We'll start with Evocation, get our mana to 5. Throw down Evocation, bringing it down to 4. We will then throw down a Curse of Decay on the Lancer in the back, actually? Which seems odd, but it's necessary. We'll then go with the Dark Ritual on Malukah here. We suffer some damage, but that's fine. Considering swords are coming into play now, basically. Okay, yeah, no, the Stockade's coming in, so that's not fun. But it's not like we got much of a choice. We gotta do this. Okay, throw down some Healing Rains. We are gonna go Vitalize on Zek. I guess we go for Vitalize on Grukli, just so he's a little safer. Because the regeneration is going to help immensely. Alright, the burn comes in, and all that damage output goes out. We can do Eternal Lullaby here, but before we do, we're going to use an Adrenaline to get our boost up. We can follow up with yet another Adrenaline if we wish, but we're going to see what Power Slave does first. Okay, we'll do an Eternal Lullaby here. And follow up with Whispering Rise. And throw down an Adrenaline, just so we get more energy for next turn. But that is where Grukli comes in. We should be able to just do a Grudge here. Blood for Blood to get some more damage output. We will then do Devastate. And deal a ton of damage. Which I should have used Blood Rage for, but whatever. It's already been done, so whatever. Okay, the poison is coming in like crazy, but we should be fine. We'll just go for the kill there, and be done with it. For our troubles, we managed to get a number of items. We're going to get shards here. We're going to get Healing Serenade. Yeah, Healing Serenade, so we'll get another one of those. We're going to grab Vampiric Tutor for Zek. And we could get Prescription, but no. We're just going to get some shards and be done with it. Now we have an option. We can either go to the Ancient Library or the Place to Rest. I'm going to go to the Ancient Library, because we can always heal. You arrive at some ruins where you find a large stone shelf with books that look really old. There are also the remains of several books and scrolls scattered everywhere. So you deduce that this was a great library in ancient times. Most of the books turn to dust just by touching them, and you don't know how to read the ones that are left, or they are missing pieces. After searching for a while, you only find a large history book, and a few scrolls that might be useful to you, and a couple of books that catch your eye. What do you do? We can either grab the Scroll of Intellect or Defense, which are okay, but we're going to grab the Cursonomicon here. Because, obviously, it's just more curses that we can get for Zek, and it just makes his repertoire even better. It's amazing that Zek found this cursed book here. He keeps it without a second thought. It's time to move on. For our troubles, we get another Cursonomicon, which is really good for him. We can get the Encyclopedia, but again, it's one of those things that's... Yeah, we can't handle the fungal outbreak, to be honest, so we're just not going to bother. But now we have to deal with the Magus on top of the Monk and a Psychic, which is going to be an annoying group to handle, most likely. We'll get the Song of Celerity. We can't do anything much else beyond that, which sucks, but that's fine. We can just get mana for Gustav, I suppose. But we can use this chance to beef up like crazy, so we're going to start with the Blood Rage. We can start with a Devastate if we really wish. But in that case, I should probably start with a Furious Slash for free. Get some more Fury buffer going. And who we're going to target? I think it's in our best interest to target... I think we go for the Magus or Psychic. Or we could go for the Lancer straight up. No, we're going to go for the Monk, I think. Start with the Monk, move on. Or do we? Well, we don't use Burn, so we don't have to worry about the Magus too much. The Psychic, though, is a very dangerous foe. So we'll just spam on the Psychic and go from there. We'll do Repetition Training to draw Devastate once again. Get another strike off. And now our Fury is up like crazy to starting out with. Alright, we can use the Cursonomicon here, or we can just chill and not. Either way, we're going to expend some HP if we use it, so that is something. But we'll start with the Vampiric Tutor, so that way we get a free Endless Abyss, which will apply to everybody immensely, which is not bad. We're then going to go with Recurring Nightmare here, I think. Yeah, let's go Recurring Nightmare for the Psychic, get that Death out, and we'll just save the Cursonomicons for later. Because that is basically fodder for later on, when such things fail, essentially. Alright, we're going to go with Condemnation, I think, here. There we go. That'll get the kill off on one. And now all we got is the Lancer, Monk, and Magus, who are slowly going to perish, most likely, at the second turn. Because of how much damage output we threw out, which is nice. Okay, for Gustav, he goes in for the attack, which is nice. We're gonna go for the Ballad of Conquest. Throw down a Vitalizing Serenade. Get some Adrenaline going. And we will do a Whispering Lies on the Monk. Just get some damage output, basically. Okay, we can go for the Provoke Cleave method here, which isn't that bad. Yeah, we'll go Provoke so we get some armor. We'll go Cleave so we get some bleed going. And then we can Reckless Charge here, sacrificing Steelskin, I suppose. But then again, we're sacrificing both skills, so it don't matter. We're then going to throw down a Shadow Binding. That'll slow them down immensely. Then we boost up Makula here. We can't use Deeper Darkness, which sucks, but that's fine. At the very least, these guys are going to be very slow to react, and... well, there you go. They die like crazy. We can grab another Evocation if we wish, or we can grab a Mana Gem. I think we grab the Mana Gem, though, here, because that's just a cheap spell to get. And we're getting a ton of mana now, so it's nice. Do we want Death's Reach? No. Tedious Poem, do we need it? No. We don't need Poisonous Blood again, so we'll get Shards. Yeah, we're basically good on cards at this point. At least I think. You are at the base of a great staircase, but in front of you, there are two colossal automatons blocking your way. The automatons do not attack you immediately. They seem to be on the defensive, and their only intention is to protect the staircase. No matter how you look at it, your only option is to defeat them in order to continue. How do you want to proceed? We attack directly. That will prevent them from getting a defense buffer, and we can focus on each of them respectively. Preferably, we want to focus on Dawn because they have the least defenses to mentals. Dusk is going to be our next focus, most likely, though. But we'll see, we'll see. First, we'll start off with Haste and then Vitalizing Serenade, get ourselves a buffer going. The sooner the better, after all. We will start with a Grudge, and we can go with a Blood Rage to get some buffer going. We'll do 1,000 Needles just to get some protection, before we start Reckless Charging. Which I should have done earlier, to be honest, before I did that, but whatever. Probably should have gotten rid of the 1,000 Needles buff before I did that, but whatever, whatever. Okay, we're gonna go with Evocation, Curse of Vulnerability. We're then going to use Prismatic Field, I think? Let's see. No, we're gonna go with Shadow Bolt here, get some immense damage off. And then we can go with Malukah and just start dealing damage after damage after damage. We'll start with Malediction, though. We will then use a Vaccine here, and follow up with Unholy Storm, which will get some nice buffers for Dark Charges going. Okay, we can no longer focus on Dawn, but we can focus on Dusk. So that is going to be our focus next. And let's hope things go well for us. Alright. We're going to start with the Ballad of Evasion. Well, no, let's do Adrenaline first. Then we'll do Eternal Lullaby. That does get the punishment out, though, but that's fine. We can do a Healing Serenade to get rid of poison and whatnot. Then we do a Ballad of Evasion, so that way we've got some buffer, we remove a debuff, and we get some evasion out of it. And evasion is going to be very powerful in our case. Alright, we're going to go with the Curse of Weakness here, most likely. We would try to target Dawn, but we can't, so... I guess the next best thing is to make them as slow as possible. But in order to do that, well, we don't have to worry about it. We're going to use the Book of Nightmares. We're going to go Curse of Weakness here, so less healing. And I guess we do Black Death here. Alright, we will suffer a bit, but that's fine. If anything, the Darkness charges are only going to make things easier for us. We'll get some healing going. Get a Prayer of Healing so we aren't dying completely. We'll save the Healing Rain for... Well, no. Let's use as much as we can. We've got 4 after all. We'll get some buffer for Zek, just in case. And while I would love to use Rampage here, I don't think it's the best option for us. So we are just going to Vigorous Fury here. And we are going to start devastating the back line here. There we go. We will then do Blood Rage to get more mana in both aspects here. Do we Steel Skin? Just in case, we'll Steel Skin. You never know, after all. Yeah, he's going for me, so all the more reason that I should have done that. Okay, he's gone. Dusk has gone for Dark Punishment, so now we can focus on Dawn again, which is going to be nice. Alright. Let us start with Encore. So that way we can do a Ballad of Conquest. We'll do another Adrenaline to get some more mana. We'll do a Ballad of Conquest again to stack up the Sharp boost. We'll do a Song of Quickness so we're even faster. And then we can follow up with a Shadow Step Whispering Lies combo to weaken Dawn. And now for Grukli. For this, we're going to use Repetition Training to reduce the cost of Devastate here. Or at the very least, bring it into our deck. And then we can start spamming on him. That'll get some nice juicy poison off, which is nice. And off we go with Recurring Nightmares, no less. Ooh, it's pretty good. I think it's in our best interest to Curse of Exhaust him, though. Yeah, so we're going to Curse of Exhaust. Then we'll do another Book of Nightmares. End our turn so Malukah can go. We can do a Condemnation here, but I don't think that's the right play. I guess we can use an Omen of Peril because we have used some things. Yeah, let's see. We'll get some Healing Rain, because why not? Healing Rain, and then we will Vitalize Grukli. That'll boost him up significantly, which is nice. But hey, all the more darkness, the better. Alright, but yeah, now we have to focus on Dusk, which sort of sucks, sort of doesn't, but we'll see. Okay. We can transform Bleed into Poison, though, so that's good. We're gonna start with the Power Slave here, before vitalizing Serenade. We will then go with an Ode of War on Grukli, before we use Poisonous Blood to get more poison, and then to activate Melodic Rhythm, so we get some buffer going. Alright, before we do anything, Grinding Wheel. We want to use as much of it as possible, so we get as much damage as possible. We are then going to do a massive cleave here. We will... Oh, we don't suffer any damage, though, which is good. And we'll get a Strike on Dusk, because why not? Okay, we are now suffering some severe poison, but that's fine. It is high time we start using Recurring Nightmare, I think. Yeah, let's use some Recurring Nightmare. Here we go. I'd love to use the Recurring Nightmare again, but I think it's in our best interest to save it once we get more mana. So Zek is going to wait there. We're going to get a Meditate off. Get another Meditate off to get even more mana. We do have Desperate Prayer now, but that's fine. Well, we can't use it anyways, so that's fine. We'll then use an Anthem of Hope, follow up with a Healing Rain just to get even more regen going. We should be good. Alright, shield card goes off, but it's fine. We're living, so all the better. And now we got Dawn that we gotta deal with, and Dusk with his crazy amount of block, which is not gonna be fun. Okay, if we do anything, we're gonna start with Eternal Lullaby. We can go with a Vitalizing Serenade if we wish, or we can go with a Ballad Conquest, which I'm probably gonna do. That'll give us one extra mana to work with, and we can use this as a buffer if we wish for Ode of War. But honestly, I think Whispering Lies is going to be a bit better here, at least for now, so we'll do that. Oh, right, we can use Ode of War anyways, so there we go, and end our turn. Alright, with this in mind, we can now use Deep Darkness if we really wish. But I think it's in our best interest to activate Cursemancy here, and then Darkness Falls first. Then do a Scroll of Intellect for Malukah, and hope she gets some more Dark Spells. At least to use anyways, I should say. Thankfully we get Master Spell, which gets rid of the poison that Grukli has been suffering from. We can then use Innervate to buff up Zek's mana. We can do a Vile Lance to follow up. We can renew if we wish, which it's getting crazy for Grukli. But I think it's in our best interest to start vitalizing everybody else. Because we do heal a percentage of our HP with regeneration, not just a specific amount. And having percent healing is just nasty crazy. Alright, before we do anything, we're going to go with Grinding Wheel here. Boost ourselves up to as much as we can with this. We are up to 220 damage and X amount of damage. So we'll start with Furious Slash, then Blood for Blood. And while we couldn't get Red Storm off, we are dealing tons of damage now. Because Sharp is crazy. Especially if you let it stack, but I digress. But yeah, no, we got bigger fish to fry, so hopefully we can get this before we reach the burn time, which is not going to be fun. Okay, we can go with Never Ending Story, or we can go with Healing Serenade here. Either way, it's going to be fine. Let's go Ballad of Evasion here. Then we'll use Shadow Step. And we'll save Never Ending Story for another time. We need as much buffer as we can, basically. Okay, we got a mana gem going. Good. We could use the Dark Ritual to get even more mana for later. Which isn't a bad idea, actually. Yeah, let's do that. We'll then use Vampiric Tutor to get ourselves Darkness Falls for free. Or do we go Curse of Decay? No, we're going to go Darkness Falls, because AoE. There we go. We will then use, I guess Black Death. Just having that burn is important here. So, we'll deal as much damage as we can, even at the cost of some HP. We can do Condemnation here, if we want. I think that's for the best. Yep, that gets a ton of healing for us. And all the same, makes them even weaker. So, that's the best choice we can go with. Alright, it's time to kill Dawn. That's the hope anyways. Alright, Grukli, you know what to do. Alright, we won't be able to get Devastate this time around, but that's fine. We are dealing plenty enough damage that I shouldn't need to worry. Okay, we're gonna go with... I think we go Demoralizing Shout here. Then we do Blood Feeding. Well, yeah, we do Blood Feeding. Then we do Reckless Charge, and we get rid of, I guess, Stockade. Don't matter really, but hey. Alright, it's time for, yeah, it's time for Dawn. Okay, we're gonna use a Vitalizing Serenade here. That'll get some recovery before we Shadow Step. Alright, Zek, we are going to use... I guess we could use Endless Abyss here. Sounds like the best course of action. Yep. Sounds like it worked, to a degree. He is probably going to die at this rate. And, yep, he does. That just leaves Dusk, which is good. Alright, that does leave Grukli with 121 HP, but considering our healing rates, we are going to heal that immensely quick, which should be a worry. We are going to Prayer of Healing, first and foremost, and that will leave Grukli up, who will probably just demolish now. Yeah, we'll just demolish with Devastate here, which deals nearly 100 damage each strike. And that is the fight. Alright, Titanfall. Deal X amount of bashing damage. X equals your HP. Apply 5 vulnerable. We are going to abstain because we can't deal slashing damage with that. We could do Whirlwind though, and get some rage out of it, and bleed and all that, but no, that's a bit too costly. Okay, we've already got 2 Ballads of Conquest, we've got 2 Ballads of Evasion, so nothing here really appeals. We could get another Vampiric Tutor, but I think I've got way too many cards. Instead, I am going to nail down a... I think we get another Sanctuary, but we keep it as a burn. So, we make this become a burn here, and keep it as a burn just for the Vitality boost, I think. Or we go with something else, like Desperate Prayer, because that's pretty alright. Let's see, what is Desperate Prayer currently? We've got one that focuses on heroes, yeah. So it's alright, Desperate Prayer, but we're probably not going to focus in on it. Yeah. We're gonna grab Sanctuary. It's a little bit better for us, I think. After a hard fight, you have defeated 2 colossal automatons, and the way to the stairs is clear. Before you start the ascent, you notice that there is a large ancient chest on one side of the tower. Although you're short on time, a chest is still a chest. Inside the chest you find gold, magic shards, and a lot of extraordinarily rare items that have been stored there for centuries. And for our trouble, we get a ton of items. I think it's going to be the first time we actually get a item of relevance for Gustav, no less. Every time Gustav hits... Well, hold on, let's see. Does he even have attack spells? I don't think he does. I mean, I guess he does have Eternal Lullaby and Power Slave and all that, so he does have some attacks. So it won't apply much, but it does apply. So that is something. Reprisal. Transfers 3... Every turn, transfer 3 curses and deal 12 sanity damage. Oh... I really want that, but... No, I'm gonna have to get another blade for Gustav. It's literally just a boost for him at this point. The Cursed Dagger... I mean, applying 1 dark to your hits on top of everything that's being done is just too good. We will lose out on the +2 charges if we do give it to Zek. So I think it's something we give Malukah? No, hold on. Let's restart. Okay, Gustav, we're gonna give you the Dark Dagger, just so you can start applying Dark yourself. We do have some nice items. I think we go with the Retaliator here, strictly because of Reprisal. Yeah, let's go with the, let's give Grukli the Retaliator, because that might just dispel his bleed as well. We could go with the Fervor Ring. Oh, right, we need to replace his ring, don't we? But the problem is Burn doesn't do anything for him. Oh, God. Ah, pain. I think it's reaching a point that we don't need to hang on to the Royal Coin. So I think it's high time we get a potion bottle for Zek at some point. But otherwise... I guess we go Netherblade? It's a really hard decision here. I'm gonna have to think about this. Okay, for Malukah, I'm gonna keep her items as is. We're gonna give the Cursed Dagger to Zek. We'll give Gustav the Netherblade. And would we rather have Poison or Burn? Burn applies at the start of turn, so Poison applies at the end of turn. Yeah, I guess the Burn having it at the start of the turn would actually heal after. Okay, yeah, no. I think going by Sortie, the Burn will apply first, and then it will, everything else will apply after. I don't know, I think that's a wrong move. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Further Ring. I think it's a little bit better. As for Malukah... Oh, no, wait. If I do that, then I won't be able to get the Retaliator. Shit. Great. This is one of the rougher decisions. You know what? Bugger it. We'll just give the Retaliator to Malukah and go for it. YOLO. As for upgrades, we can choose between Endless Fury or Tireless. I'm actually going to go for Tireless this time, because we get plenty enough Fury, and we only have a limited amount of Fury that we can benefit from, so... Tireless is just better. We can either go with Choir or Wild Sleeves. Choir grants us Stanza 1 to all heroes. Stanza 3 will not be removed at the end of turn as well. Let's see. Oh, 1 second. Alright, just give me a few minutes and I will address the choices I'm going to go with. But I'm probably going to go with... Yeah, we don't use small weapons with Gustav, so... It's very likely going to be Choir. So we'll grab that and give me like a few minutes. I need to sort something out and I will be right back. See you in a minute. Okay, I think I'm back, unless things go a bit more awry, but we'll have to see. Alright, I was on choir. Let's see. On our first turn, grant stanza 1 to all heroes. Stanza 3 is not removed at the end of turn. So basically, it just takes the canter ability and gives it to everybody, which is alright. Alright, we can either go for Vampirism, which is all damage done is plus 30%, and we can heal ourselves for 30% of the damage done. Or we can go with Absolute Darkness. Dark on enemies reduces shadow resistance by additional 1% per charge, which is really nice, and we get plus 2 dark charges. I think we're going to go with the Absolute Darkness, because it's just way too hard to pass up. And for Malukah, we either go with Mojo or Shadow Form. As much as I like Shadow Form, we're actually going to go for Mojo, because we use enough regeneration of vitality that it warrants grabbing it. And anytime we play a healing spell, we can dispel 1 to all heroes, so all the more reason to grab it. Because at that point, we're just constantly dispelling negative effects against us, so it's pretty good. In front of you, there is a staircase that reaches as far as the eye can see. It will be a tough climb, so before you start, you rest for a while until you recover all your strength. You climb the endless staircase. Now, we have two choices. We can either go north or south. It really doesn't matter. So we're just going to go straight north and go from there. We can go with Vigorous, and we can get ourselves another rare shop. That might be the saving grace that we need. But the HP and all damage done plus 2 is annoying, at least. But considering the circumstances, we need another rare shop. Or we need another shop, so we're going to take the chance and see what we can find. Maybe we'll find a better ring for Grukli, but we'll see. But hopefully things just don't go worse for us. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, we're going to start with a Song of Celerity here. We'll get some adrenaline going. We won't be able to cast anything with Gustav, which sucks, but that's fine. We'll just compensate with other things that we can do. Alright, we're going to go with Red Storm here. Get some intense amounts of bleed going. I think it's in our best interest to stop... who? I think we stop the Magus first. And we'll just spam that ability as much as we can. Alright, that gets some intense amounts of burn and bleed. We'll then do a Cleave to follow suit to get everybody targeted. And then we'll do a Blood for Blood to get even more bleed out. And that'll be our turn. That'll give us 18 bleed and burn, which we will suffer from. But we should be fine, I think? Yeah, we get Deep Darkness at this point, and we can do a Dark Ritual here. We're gonna start with the, we'll start with the Deep Darkness, see how that goes out. Everybody suffers an immense amount of damage. We're going to follow up with Curse of Darkness, I think? No, we're gonna go with a Dark Ritual, give Malukah a big buffer there, and we'll go from there. We do suffer some poison because of our choices, but that's fine. We can get rid of the burn at least by using Healing Rain. So that is what we'll do. We will follow up with a Sanctuary, or rather a Vaccine before we Sanctuary, I think. Yep. That'll give us some nice buffer, and we can then use Vitalize on Zek to give him some healing, and save ourselves some trouble. And keep in mind, we're debuffing every hero, or we're getting rid of debuffs for every hero every time we use a heal spell with Malukah. So all the more reason to start pumping out those vitalities like crazy. The more vitalities, the better. Alright. With this, we can follow up with a... We could double down on the Poisonous Blood, which is probably going to be the go for. We'll focus on the Magus, get him some intense poison damage. We'll then use Healing Serenade? No, first we use Encore here. Then we double down on the Healing Serenade here. Get rid of a ton of debuffs. before we use Whispering Lies to damage the Magus even further to the point where he's going to die next turn, which is the goal. Now, theoretically, we can leave him alone. That might be the best choice here, but we're going to start with a Blood Rage here. We'll then get a Vigorous Fury before we Stockade and Barricade. At the very least, getting some block temporarily, which will be nice. Okay, we can use Shadow Binding here. This will slow them down to an extent. But it's probably... well, I guess we'll use it regardless. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll use it here. That'll slow them down immensely. That way we can follow up with a Prismatic Field, so that way we get some elemental resistances, which should help our group quite efficiently. We'll then throw down a Meditate to get some more mana. We can use Malediction here, so we'll keep that in mind. Instead, we're going to focus on giving the Knight here Malediction, because he is the focus currently. We can then Renew and Violence. I think we go for the Violence here, but just to be safe, we're going to go Revolt, just so we get the kill off, potentially. We'll see how deadly it is, though. Okay, not sure. Yep, that's a Perish. Good, that's a Perish. And the Angel should die at this rate. No. Not yet, apparently. But that's fine. We're basically reaching... yeah. With the Angel, we're basically reaching that point, so it's fine. Okay, we're going to start with Power Slave to get ourselves a boost to Powerful. We're then going to go with an Eternal Lullaby here. Get even more replied. We'll then go Vitalizing Serenade. Twice over. Song of Quickness so we speed up. And now we got Grukli. Okay, with Grukli, we're going to go with the Grinding Wheel strat first. Get our damage boosted like crazy, to 103 no less. We'll go with Blood Rage here. And we should be able to use Repetition Training here to get Devastate here. That way we can use it and lay into the Angel before we go for a Reckless Charge on the Duelist, which will get him to Death's Door. And with that, we should be able to, if we play our cards right, throw down Evocation. We can do a Book of Nightmares for Makula here. And we should be able to Curse of Decay the Angel. That gets a kill. And the Duelist should die to Makula, if we do it right. Let's see. Yin Ritual, Condemnation. Yeah, there you go. Not bad. Okay. I think it's in our best interest to shard it up. We can get a Scroll of Intellect here. It is basically a free card. Yeah, it's draw 1, grant 1 Inspire, 2 Energize. That's too hard to pass up. Let's see. Poison Catalyst is alright. Let's see. Double targets poison. I mean, I guess we can. Yeah, that sounds actually like a good idea. We'll get Poison Catalyst. We can go Last Stand if we wish, but honestly, I don't think we need it. Neither do we need Whirlwind. So we'll just shard it up there. Alright, we've got the Singing Sword, Plate Mail, a Madness Ring, which applies Sight. We can go with the Platinum Ring, which is actually a really good choice. Yeah, don't worry, Barlow, I know. We're gonna go with the Platinum Ring here for Grukli. I know the Fire was nice. Well, I guess Grukli's actually doing pretty alright with healing. And the Fire isn't that bad. It's actually much worse with the enemy, to be honest. Okay. We can go with the Gladiator Helm, or we can go with Plate Mail here. Either would be a good option. I think I'm going to go for the Plate Mail just so we have extra HP. So we got a buffer just in case the burn does become a bit too much. But we do have enough that we cure burn, so it's not an issue. So we'll get the plate mail. Do we need anything else? Gustav, I guess we can replace you with the singing sword. Damage with a hit. Applies insane and stanza. Actually, as much as I like the singing sword, I'm not going to get it. Because I don't attack often with Gustav. It's better if I go with another blade, which is going to apply vulnerable, than I do anything else. We can go with the Madness Ring, which is not good for us. Scroll of Resurrection's an option, but I don't think we need it. Okay, Madness Ring is option, but we don't need it again, like I said. Let's see. Continuum Blade is nice, but we don't need it. Yeah, nothing good is here. It's fine. Let us use the chapel service to remove some cards. You arrive at some ruins where you find a makeshift chapel. Inside, there is a healer who offers his services for a small donation. You can pay him some gold to recover your full health, or use the chapel's services to remove injuries or other cards. Naturally, you're going to remove cards. Preferably, Zek is the only one I want to start getting rid of cards from. We're going to get rid of Drain Life because we don't use it as often. Let's see. We're going to get rid of... Let's see. We've got a Vampiric Tutor, so that's fine. We don't use Shadow Bolt. I think that's an expendable one, so we'll get rid of that. And we should get rid of one more if we can. Let's see. I think we get rid of the yellow Scroll of Intellect, because while it is a draw one, grant one energy, it's not as good as the burn, so we're gonna get rid of that, I suppose. Okay, that'll bring it down to 30 cards. I think that's as much as we can do here, so yeah, we'll settle it for that. You arrive at some ruins where soil seems very fertile, and many exotic plants you have never seen before grow. Walking through the garden, you find some berries that seem edible, but what catches your attention is a large tree. As you approach, you see that, on a tree, there is a single golden apple that shines brightly. What do you do? So, we can either give this to any of our characters to give them a nice juicy buffer, or we can go forward for berries and just give everybody a buff. To give you a rough idea, the apple gives you an insane buffer for one character, or we can go for the generalized buff and we can give everybody some HP. As it stands, we're already gaining a ton of HP, so I think it's in our best interest to give this to Gustav, strictly because he's going to need as much energy as possible. For our troubles, we get a draw 1, we can dispel insanity, we gain 1 energy, 2 bless, and 1 inspire for our troubles. When you eat the apple, you notice how your mind expands. Your understanding of the current situation is clearer, and your doubts disappear. You come across an ancient altar. You can take the opportunity to make an offering of magic shards and improve your skills. The altar appears to be in normal state and has no special bonuses to offer. We're going to try to improve it. Or at least try to, anyways. You have done an excellent upgrade, and the altar is now gleaming. You get a 50% discount. And technically, it is... yeah, I guess it is a 50% discount, isn't it? We're going to start by upgrading everything that we need. So we're going to get the Sanctuary, we're going to make those burn. I think we actually burn the other Sanctuary as well, in favor of more buffer, because we don't use Sanctuary all that often. Enough to warrant that it's going to be used often anyways. We'll keep the Desperate Prayer as a 4 cost, I guess. Ruin Bolt is probably best cheaper. Yeah, I think it's better cheaper. But honestly, I should probably have gotten rid of it. Mass Dispel, we're going to want to keep as is. We're going to keep Condemnation as is. Vitalize, we want to keep. Or at the very least, 1 we need to keep. so that is vital. We can have meditate, gain 1 energy and 1 energize instead, which is viable. In fact, we might as well do that, because you never know. It might actually be the better course of action. At the very least, it'll allow us to be more malleable with our decisions. Although we do lack the Inspire, but I think I can tolerate that. We're not in desperate need of cards, after all. Vampiric Tutor, we can either upgrade to Reveal 3, or we can Reveal 6. I think it's in our best interest to Reveal 6, so we'll go for that. Alright, we got the Curse of Decay. I think we go for the 4 cost, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, though. Hold on. Let's see. Deep Darkness is best as a burn to double target. Or we can actually make it focus on 1 monster and deal dark. On double tark. It's fine. Alright, we're gonna keep it at all monsters. Curse of Madness, keep. Although I guess we can cheapen things. There is also the Curse of Nomicon here that we can buffer up. I think we go for the cheaper Curse of Nomicon, though, because it'll deal less against us, so... Yeah, we're gonna go for the cheaper Curse of Nomicon here, this time. Alright, we've got the Mana Gem, which we can upgrade. We're gonna make it a 2 mana 1 energize. Okay, I'd love to upgrade Black Death and Infestation and all that, but unfortunately we can't. Let's see. I think we're good to go. Let's see. Okay, that's Zek. Now we go with Gustav. I think we need to keep one of the Healing Serenades. Yeah, we keep one of the Healing Serenades, we burn the other. So upgrade that with Dispel too. Vitalizing Serenades we already burned, so we don't need to worry about that. Eternal Lullaby is all monsters anyways, so it's not a big deal. Keeping it cheap is really for the best. We can either double the target's poison, or we can triple. Because we don't apply poison anymore, it's not that big a deal, so we'll just burn a triple catalyst here. We'll go for the adrenaline, and we will make it a burn, and... Well, I guess we could make a burn and get some more mana. No, we need to burn the card. We'll burn that card. Vitalizing Serenades are burned. Battle of Conquests are going to remain. Song of Quickness will be fine as is. Although I'm probably going to want to change it to... Well, no. If we get rid of Shackle, then it's going to be worse. Yeah. We're going to keep Netherething Story as it is. We can go with Stanza 2+ for Whispering Lies if we wish, and get it to apply Decay. It is a interesting debuff. Shadow Step's an option as a burn, but no, we're fine for that. Poisonous Blood is already a burn. Okay, that's Gustav. And now Grukli is basically good to go. Reckless Charge is fine as is. Battle Shouts are fine. Got Infuriate. Which I guess I could make a, I guess I'll make it a double instead of a triple. At the very least I can make it cheaper, which is all better. We'll keep Stockade as it is. We'll keep Entrench as it is. Although I don't think I need Entrench for this build, but whatever. Okay, Grinding Wheels is good as it goes, and we are as good as we will be. At least I think, anyways. We don't need Pacifism, because we're going to heal after this fight anyways, so... Yeah, we'll just clear up shop, and hopefully this is going to be a good run, and we get a win. Something we kind of need. Okay, let's see. Okay, we can get a Song of Celerity to start out with, get an Adrenaline going, and Shadow Step to start. That'll be our buffer for now. Okay, we can go with Darkness Falls, giving everybody some dark stacks, which is nice. In fact, we'll do just that. Then we can throw down a Cursonomicon, or two, which will give us even more buffers for free. Zek is really hurting now, which sucks. Kinda regret doing what I just did, but whatever. Alright, I guess with Blood Rage, we will Entrench just to be safe, Clean, Steel Skin, and Reckless Charge for big deeps. Alright, time for Makula now. She's going to start with Vaccine as she does, Meditate. Then we go for the Renew here. We'll go for the Vitalize. And we'll leave it at that. We are now at stanza 2, it seems, which is okay. And now the attacks come in. Time for round 2. I am worried about Zek, but it seems he's perfectly fine despite all the damage he took. So that's good. Alright, we can throw down a Ballad of Conquest if we so fit, which is pretty good. We'll go with a Healing Serenade next, a Vitalizing Serenade. We'll then do an Ode of War just to keep, I guess we'll keep Zek safe, specifically. Then we'll do Poisonous Blood to double down on the poison for the Knight. Because apparently we're still dealing poison damage, which is good. And we'll wait for Gustav next. And for Zek, we've got a ton of cards to go through. Some free, some not. Okay, we will start with Infestation. We'll then use Curse of Elements on the Psychic here. Do a Plague Rat. And then we can do a Book Nightmares on Zek as well. And while we can't cast any more spells, we can still wait for Grukli and Makula to handle that. But we should be able to deal enough damage that it shouldn't be an issue, so... Okay, Devastate. We can either go for that or the Grinding Wheel. I think for the sake of getting more damage out, we're going to go with the Grinding Wheel first. Because that'll boost up our damage immensely. We will put Stockade away first, and then go for Repetition and Training and whatnot. Okay. With this, we can then do the Yin Ritual. We can detox Grukli just to be safe, and we'll give out Vitality for him, just so he's recovering quite a lot. The regeneration does the work beyond that, though, so that's good. And now we wait for our turn with Gustav. With the pace we've been going, though, I suspect we'll win this. And I honestly am confident in that fact. For this, we're going to use the Eternal Lullaby, I think is the best course. Yes, Eternal Lullaby. We'll then use Healing Serenade here. And then use Song of Quickness, so we're a bit faster than them. And that'll get everybody initiative to attack everybody with ease. Alright, we're going to go with a Mana Gem to get our initiative up. We then go with the Curse of Weakness on the Knight. Alright, we can then get a Plague Rat going. That'll get everybody to Death's Door for the most part. And we can start throwing down a Curse of Madness on the Angel. We can then throw down a Plague Rat to see if we get a kill. We don't, but that is plenty enough for us to get Grukli and Makula involved. We'll start with Red Storm. We will then throw down Rampage. Now get 2 kills. We will then throw down a Battle Shout and then Provoke. Just so Grukli becomes a more focused target, because he is high HP Octane badass. And yeah, Dark Hills, so done and done. Okay, we can go with a challenging shout, which certainly wouldn't be bad. Or we can go for another Devastate. I think we go for another Devastate. Oh, 1 second. Need to check up on something. Alright, apologies, I am back. Okay, we're not grabbing anything with Makula. Zek? No, nothing. We're not going to grab Poison Catalyst, so we're not going to get anything, so we'll get shards there. I think we go for the challenging shout, even though it's not wise. You know what? No. Let's not even consider the challenging shouts. And let's avoid the Devastate. Well, I guess we'll grab Devastate just in case. You never know. In front of you is the central obelisk, and under it you can see a large altar. This is your last chance to rest and regain some strength. We don't have any injuries, so we'll just rest and recover. You reach the inner sanctum of the obelisk, but it is too late. Any ritual that has been performed here is already over. After a quick glance around the room, you can see the body of the princess behind the altar. It seems she is still alive. Then your eyes focus on the shadowy figure in front of the altar. It is Lord Hanshek. The brooch on his neck glows brightly, and dark energy emanates from it. He looks at you and gives you a sinister smile. Oh, it's too late for you. You're cursed and being controlled by that gem. Speak for yourself. What can a swamp witch like you know about curses when she doesn't see the truth about herself? This gem is the source of a power you cannot comprehend, but rest assured, I will now show you what it's capable of. And now, we deal with Lord Hanshek. Gonna start by buffering up like crazy, get Song of Celerity so we're faster than him. Get Vitalizing Serenade before we throw down the Adrenaline, which we're going to save actually. We'll save it for a rainy day, basically. We're gonna start with Cursemancy. We'll get a Book of Nightmares going. Evocation before we just Black Death like crazy. There you go. Not the best course of actions that we should be doing, but whatever. I'm not here to sugarcoat things. Get Blood Rage going, Stockade up. We will go with Blood for Blood, Blood Frenzy, and Reckless Charge. Because obviously, why not deal as much damage as we can? Alright, we're gonna... I think we Vaccine, obviously. We'll Healing Rain. We'll Vitalize Grukli and Violence, because why not? At least get everything to a point where we're just going to be satisfied. Ah, the Lord of Shadows. So you won't mind if I take out your Shadow Clones as well. Which seem rather dangerous to a degree, because 95% Dark Resistance is not fun. In fact, they got a lot of cold resistance and electricity resistance, don't they? Good to know. We're gonna go for the Melodic Rhythm. We'll then go with a Ballad of Evasion, a Song of Quickness, so we're much faster. We'll save the, we'll save everything else for later. But, yeah, we can use the mana gem, but first I think it's in our best interest to use Endless Abyss here. Yeah, we'll start with Endless Abyss. Get some insane damage out. Get the mana gem going. We'll then throw down a Book of Nightmares for Zek once again. Before we go with a Curse of Vulnerability. And go for the... I guess we'll go for the frontmost individual and be done with that. Because Dark Everywhere is not bad. Alright, I'm going to start with a Red Storm. Follow up with Thousand Needles alongside Battle Shout. We'll then do a Furious Smash here. Reckless Charge to follow suit. And that'll be that. Now with Makula, we're going to want to heal as much as we can for Zek and Gustav, so let's hope we can get as much as we can. Okay, we can go with a Prayer of Healing, or we go with the Unholy Storm. I think it's in our best interest to go Unholy Storm, though, because that'll deal even more damage to the enemy. And then we can detox Grukli. Oh, 1 second. Man, I'm being called for a lot of things. Okay. But don't worry. It's not going to intervene with what I'm doing right now, so... Alright, we're going to start with... Let's see. I think it's in our best interest to Power Slave here. Gets even more weakness going. We then throw down another... Well, we don't need Evasion because we've already got Evasion going. So we're going to instead Ballad of Conquest. Then double down on the Healing Serenades. And then Shadow Step to save our hides. Because the evasion will protect us from most damage that's going to happen to us. And yeah, the evasion's just basically going to protect us for the most part, which will be nice. It is our one saving grace at this point. Okay, we can either kill somebody outright, which we don't necessarily need to, or we can focus on something in particular. We're going to start with the Cursed Nomicon, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we got some spells. We can then do the Scroll of Intellect for Makula here. We can then throw down a Curse of Agony for free, which we will throw down on the Shadow Clone in the back. We'll then throw down a Curse of Weakness. Or do we go with... No, we go with Curse of Madness here for the Shadow Clone here. Then Curse of Exhaustion to get the kill zone there. And they should bleed out. Or they should poison out, basically. We'll have to focus down on the Shadow Clone in the back, but at that point we can deal with the Lord Hanshuk and then there, so... All the better that we focus. We'll do a Meditate, get some more mana, Mass Dispel. We can do some Healing Rain to compensate, which is not bad. But before we do, Condemnation, so we get some healing and some vitality. We'll do an Anthem of Hope, Omen of Peril to get another vitality going. We'll get Healing Rain out, and I guess we'll do another just so we got more for Grukli, just so he's got some recovery going for him. Okay, we can throw down a Vigorous Fury, get ourselves to max charge for Fury, and we've got some vitality going for us. We're going to go for the Cleave here, get a free Cleave, that'll get the Shadow Clone to near death. We will then use Devastate here, and just plow into Lord Hanshuk. We'll then do a Blood Rage to immediately hamper off. We'll get another attack off. We'll focus on Devastate here. And we should get 2 more attacks off, which will make his burn and bleed stacks immensely high. Which is the good part. Alright, we can get another Ballad of Conquest, but we're going to start with Encore here. Then we'll double down. We can then do a Vitalizing Serenade here. And follow up with an Ode of War for... I guess Malukah? No. Let's go with... Let's see, who... Yeah, we should probably go with Zek, actually. Although, actually, I should have gone for Gustav, but whatever. Whatever. We'll just make sure we get the kill off on the Shadow Clone. There we go. And now we can start focusing on Lord Hanshek here. Okay, we're gonna go with Dark Ritual here, get some more mana. We are then going to use the Recurring Nightmare, I think? Yeah, we'll use Recurring Nightmare. Get as much debuffs as possible. We'll save that other Recurring Nightmare until we get more mana for Zek, and we'll go from there. Okay. The debuff to mana really does suck, but it's not like we can do much about it. The most we can do is just compensate with Innervate and other buffers like that. And hey, we can remove debuffs every time we use Vitalize, so it's a plus. It's a plus. Okay, we're gonna start with Grudge. We will then use Blood Rage here before we use Rampage, which will get 2 slices off, and then we'll just Entrench just to be safe. It'll give us some buffer, but it won't last long. Just enough for us to protect against some attacks, which will be nice. At the very least, we're going to have to rely on Gustav for most of the evasion that we're going to be gaining from this, so... We'll start off with Adrenaline. We'll get a Ballad of Evasion going, I think. Yeah, Ballad of Evasion. Ballad of Conquest. And there we go. That's a ton more Shark to work with. Okay, we're going to do Malediction to get some crazy amounts of Dark. We'll then get some more energy for Zek to work with. The Yin Ritual, Healing Rain, and we can throw down a Renew for Grukli. That'll boost up his regen stacks even more. Now we're left with Zek, who we will use Curse of Decay on so he doesn't heal as fast. We will then use Shadow Binding here, just so we get him to the lowest initiative possible. Before we do Evasion, or Infestation, rather. Alright, we can go with Demoralizing Shouts, or we can go for the Grind Wheel, get more mana, or we can just go straight Devastate and deal more damage. I'm gonna go with the Devastate for now. I just deal as much damage as I possibly can, because the bleed at the very least is going to benefit. So all the more better that we just focus on it for now. We can double down on the poison and just turn it into, yeah, if we transform the bleed, 84, then we can double down on the poison and get even more from that, if we wish. I think we go for the Vitalizing Serenade first. That'll give us 2 mana to work with. We can then follow up with an Ode of War for somebody. I guess we give it to Grukli because he's going to benefit the most from it. We'll then Poison Blood, so that way we get 258 stacks. Then Shadow Step, before we deal with big damage deeps. Okay, we're gonna go Book of Nightmares for Zek here. We will Vampiric Tutor to get Recurring Nightmares for free. I guess we go for the Recurring Nightmare here, and Deep Darkness, double down, Plague Rats. There we go. Just get as much as we possibly can. We can Infuriate, but there's no need to be honest. So we're gonna get Steel Skin, Reckless Charge, we'll get rid of Entrench, and we'll do another, just so we get even more damage going. Because the more shots, the better, obviously. Okay, with that, we can go with a Prayer of Healing, just to get rid of any debuffs that we need to, like the Burn, for example. Alright, he's going to try and deal as much damage as he possibly can to us, but to no avail. Because we're healing so goddamn much. Okay, I think we go for the Healing Serenade here. Well, hold on. If we go Ballad of Conquest, then we can go with Poison Catalyst to triple his poison currently. Yeah, we'll triple his poison and then go Whispering Lies. And that leaves him with 981 poison to deal with. Which is pretty nasty, if you think about it. Okay, we're suffering from initiative drawback, but that's fine. We should be able to get away with a Curse of Agony here. Yep, it's free, so it's not bad. We'll get another Plague Rat going. Then we can Recurring Nightmare here. End our turn. That gives a chance to use Devastate for free, which we are going to take full advantage of, and that should get us within kill range. In fact, I can just do a Blood for Blood, transfer the blood, or... yeah, we can transfer that too, and we can get Provoke going, so Grukli's going to be the focus there. Not bad at all. We'll throw down a Vitalize for Gustav, just to be safe. And yeah, the statistics don't lie. This is a crazy amount of HP that we got. Not a fan of Grukli being focused down, though, to 150. But now we've got bigger fish to fry, and let's hope we can beat Madness level 4. Because this is the last hurdle we've got. Okay. It is time for the last hurdle. We start with Doomsday. Divine Punishment comes in. Summon Awakening. Alright, that leaves the Shadow Clone and Nahir. Okay, we're gonna start with Melodic Rhythm to get some healing out. So that way we can get the boost there. We won't be able to cast anything else with Gustav, but that's just par for the course. Kinda used to it. We'll give the boost to Makula here to start with. We are then going to go with... I think we go Curse of Exhaustion, so that way we don't have to worry about one of them. I think it's in our best interest to purge Nihir to start with. Then we can Curse of Weakness to Shadow Clone, make him slow, and that will set the precedent for what we got for next turn. Okay, so we can either Devastate or Grinding Wheel. I think it's in our interest to Blood Rage to start with. Now, let's see, we can do this up to 4 times, which is exactly what I want to do. That'll get us to a Sharpness of 16, and that'll give us plenty of chance to deal as much damage out to the Shadow Clone as possible before we end our turn, and that will put us into Makula's turn, who will now take advantage of the situation. We will give Zek a boost, then we'll give the boost to Gustav, who will pass it over to Grukli. We'll then Vaccine, and we'll start regenning with Renew. And while we can't use Rune Bolts, that's perfectly fine, because we can take advantage of everything else at this point. Alright. Let's just hope we can outlast Nahir's damage outputs. We need to at least get our outputs going like crazy. Alright, we'll start with Adrenaline. before we do an Ode of War on Gustav specifically. That way we can get a free pass off to Grukli. We can then do a, I guess a Ballad of Conquest before a Power Slave. Reduce their HP some as a result. Alright, we can get an evocation off. And we can pass it over to Malukah for the energy. We can then do a Book of Nightmares if we so desire. In fact, that might be a good idea for Gustav, but no, we're gonna go Book of Nightmares and Book of Nightmares for Malukah. Just spread out the love, and we'll get more darkness charges as we go. Okay, we're going to grudge it up. We will then do the Martyr for, Gustav. We will then follow up with the... Let's go Demoralizing Shout. At the very least to get the weakness off. To get the Furious Slash off on the clone. And at the very least the clone's going to be weaker, so all the more reason to get it. We're going to start off with a Mass Dispel here. That way we're not suffering from as many status ailments as we are. Give Zek the buffer. Alright, the Shadow Clone goes next. Thankfully his damage is reduced, so it's not going to be that bad. But that still does hurt us, because Nahir is causing a bit of trouble for us. But hey, we'll manage. We'll manage. Okay, we are now in stanza 3, which means we got plenty of casting ability. So we're just going to start with Healing Serenade, Vitalizing Serenade to get some buffer. We'll get an Adrenaline going, pass the Martyrdom over to Grukli, and then we end our turn. Alright, we've got Recurring Nightmares, we've got Nightmares, we've got Martyr. We'll pass the Martyrdom over to Malukah. We will then go with the Scroll of Intellect for Malukah, so that way she gets more regen. And we can either go with Recurring Nightmare, Black Death, or something else. I'm gonna go with Recurring Nightmare for the Shadow Clone. But I'm only gonna use 2 mana here, so that way we can pass off Black Death to mainly Nahir, which does not do much for us, really. But that's fine. I kinda half expected it. Okay. We are going to do... I think we go Repetition Training. Get the Devastate going. We can then use Rampage to double down on the attacks before we throw down a Red Storm. But before we do the Red Storm attack and Devastate, we're going to do Martyrdom here. Then Devastate, with as much attacks as we can. That way we get some bleed, we get some burn, we got some poison already, so that's a plus. And we just stack on as much debuffs as we can. We're going to Healing Rain to get rid of the burn. We will Martyrdom. We will then Meditate before we Malediction, get some more debuffer going. We are going to pass the Innervate over to Zek, to where we then Condemnation. We'll get rid of his block, and then we can Vitalize Grukli, which will get rid of his bleed in general, which is nice. Okay, we pass the Martyrdom back to Grukli. That'll give him back his Doom stacks, which is usually the go-to for this enemy, so... we're going to go Ballad of Evasion to avoid some attacks. We'll go Song of Quickness to get rid of any debuffs that we have. We'll then follow up with Whispering Lies before we throw down a Shadow Step. And that'll give us 10 mana for Gustav for next turn. We pass Martyrdom over to Malukah. We activate Infestation here. And I think it's in our best interest to just debuff to High Hell, so... I think it's in our best interest to... not Curse of Decay, but Curse of Vulnerability. Then Plague Rats. And then get Curse Mancy ready. because that will reduce the card cost and it'll apply 7 darkness every time we use a spell, so all the better. Okay, we're gonna go with 1,000 Needles, I suppose. Yep, 1,000 Needles, Blood Feeding, and Reckless Charge. Increase our rage, not that we need to, but hey, it's fine. We're dealing what we can, basically. Alright, here trying to go clutch. We can pass the Martyrdom back to Zek. We can also use Desperate Prayer here if we wish. We're going to get the Healing Rain first, though. We are going to use Desperate Prayer on... I think it's at best on Gustav currently, actually. Because we want him to get more HP. That way we don't, you know, die. Then we'll save a Desperate Prayer for later at 3 cost and hope that, you know, scales some point. We can use Never Ending Story to debuff the living hell out of Nahir. But before that, well, yeah, no, we're going to do that. We'll boost it up like crazy. That'll bring it down to 2 mana. We do have 3 mana now, but we can use an Encore here. And we're going to use that chance to use Vitalizing Serenade, actually. Well, Vitalizing Serenade twice over, give Grukli the buffer, and off we go. Because that'll give us a ton of regeneration stacks, which makes our jobs easier. We can then pass the Martyrdom back to Malukah. We get a mana gem going. We're gonna save this Martyrdom for later. I think it's in our best interest to keep it on to split up. We will then Curse of Shadows. We will then Curse of Nomicon to get some free cards. Get a draw, and we can Curse of Vulnerability for free. And Plague Rat again. And then Shadow Binding next. Well, not this turn, but we have it. Okay, so he's passed the poison back to us, which is not good. But we should be able to cleanse the poison to a degree, given some time. It's just gonna take some finagling. But we're gonna go for blood here. Well, after we go with... yeah, we'll go blood for blood. Vigorous Fury to boost up our vitality stacks before we devastate. Get as much hits off as possible. We'll then Martyrdom back over to Gustav, as we do. And Malukah is next. Thankfully, we can purge these without too much hassle, because healing spells just tend to do that. Okay, if we do a Prayer of Healing, we'll get a full heal, we'll get rid of all our debuffs, and we should be able to get Zek buffed, which is nice. So yeah, our deck is a rather successful one, I'd like to admit. Which is good for us, actually. Like, very good. We're going to use Poisonous Blood to start getting the poison stacks up like crazy. We'll double down on Never Ending Story real quick. We'll pass the Martyrdom back to Grukli. And, yeah. Yeah, he got rid of half the stacks, which does suck, but that's fine. He's still got to get... oh. Yeah, no, he got rid of half the stacks again, it seems, but that's fine. Okay, we're gonna go with Healing Rain here. That'll get rid of some debuffs. And I think we... yeah, I think we Recurring Nightmare here. We'll just spam the Recurring Nightmare and get as much debuff as possible. Unfortunately for him, the evasion is just naturally gonna be there. Yeah, every time he's damaged, he blocks one attack, so... while annoying, we'll manage. I'm actually going to boost up Grukli's mana. We are then going to use the Curse of Nomicon here to see if we get some good cards. Martyrdom up. Then Deeper Darkness to double down. Plague Rats, and we got Curse of Madness, so... boom. Plague Rats. And Curse of Madness. And I guess Plague Rat again. Ah, Curse of Fragility. Boom. Even more curses, just to throw to the pits. Okay, I guess we're gonna start with a martyrdom. Give that to Gustav. We will go with a cleave. We will then use barricade and steel skin because we got the mana, and go for the charge there. And just further hamper him. The more we do, the better. And our HP just slowly stacks with the vitality, so as long as he doesn't debuff our vitality stacks, we're going to be fine. Okay, we're gonna go with Curse of Fragility here. We're gonna go Curse of Decay. We're gonna go Vampiric. We're gonna get the Black Death. Activate that. We will then use Martyrdom, pass it over to... Well, no, let's save it. Well, no, let's just go Recurring Nightmare and just go from there. I just keep stacking things up at this point. You know, I think it's high time we just stack it up like crazy. So, let's see. If I use this, it's going to get us 1 mana, but because of Fanfare, we get 2. So, let's use that. Let's use Poison Catalyst to get 1,197 poison stacks. And we're gonna pass the Martyrdom back to Grukli. And let's just wail on the Archon and get the win. We'll get the Yin Ritual, meditate. We will then throw down a Martyrdom for Zek. We will vitalize, focusing on herself actually, because she does need some more HP. And yeah, let's just start wailing into this guy. Blood Rage, Martyrdom. I guess we can Blood Rage again, and boom. Let's see, can you dispel the poison? Are you gonna dispel it? Come on. Let's see. Let's see you have that stack. Can you? No, you cannot. In fact, you damaged yourself as part of doing what you were trying to do. Alright, well, I think this is a W for us. We'll get the W there. We'll get rid of one of the sads, and now it's time to go for the kill. No amount of reduction is going to stop that, but I think before we do that, we're just going to ruin his life. And that is the win.
This is a story of how they saved me.
And that is Madness level 4. We managed to get some nice good things. We managed to get Merciless, Black Death, Betty, Obsidian Dagger, and Orby for our troubles. And we managed to get a final score of 19,377. And our loot is rather well. For our troubles, we can now set up for a new run. What I'm probably going to do is this time around, I'm not sure ultimately. But we'll see. We'll see. There's plenty of things I can think of. Although it seems that we can't get any more boosts to rank. So yeah, it seems like the cap of skill points is at 50, so you can't go over than the normal limit that. But hey, that's fine. It is a W all the same, which is not bad for us. We can get ourselves some new skins, for example. Let's see, what does Gustav got? We got ourselves a blue frog rather. For Makula, we can't unlock anything for her just yet. Grukli is probably the same. Yeah. But we do get some, card decks, and yeah. As for what I do next, I am not entirely sure. I guess I could go with something involving Andrin. I don't know. I'll have to give it some thought, but For Madness, I am thinking we go back to 3 at this point. Get rid of the impending doom and resistant monsters, obviously, for reasons. But we're going to try for Madness difficulty selection 3 and see how we can fare with no chest rewards again. But again, I'll think about it. We're probably going to get some losses. We're going to get some successes, yeah. But I digress. For those of you on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification if you want to see more stuff. I stream daily, so if you can catch my streams, you can catch me 3 to 7 MST time. If you want to catch my streams, the best way to do so is either search me up at f1manpon at twitch.tv. You can scroll down, or rather you can go into the link down below in the description, and you should be able to copy and paste that, or click the link, no less, to get to my channel. Or you can go to my channel page, you can go to the About section, and you should be able to find a link to my Twitch channel there. For those of you on Twitch, or those of you from YouTube coming to Twitch, welcome. Your support is always appreciated. The more follows I have, the more content I give you guys. If you see in the bottom left corner of the screen, there is a follower count. Once that follower count hits 50, I can provide you guys with some more content, provide some more features, that sort of thing. But for the most part, it's really simple. It's based, bare bones, that sort of thing. I'll see what I can do to make it a bit more interesting as I get to the 50 follower mark. Probably going to do new videos there, just to celebrate the occasion. But we'll see. But yeah, if you want to get to my YouTube channel, for those of you on Twitch, the best way to do so is to search me up at youtube.com at f1manpon. Alternatively, you can scroll down below and you should see a YouTube picture in the Twitch channel, or at least my Twitch channel, I should say. If you click that YouTube photo, it will direct you to my YouTube channel. Or, if you're watching from VODs, you can scroll down below and you should be able to find a description. If you scroll to the bottom, you should find a link or two to my channel. So you just copy and paste that and you should be able to find me relatively easily. But I digress. If you want to find my older videos, the best way to do so is to go to YouTube. It has everything since day one. So if you want to watch more Across the Obelisk, or you want to watch something else, that is the best way to do so. If you want to find my newer content and what I've been doing, more recently, check Twitch. It should have everything within a 7-day time frame. So if you want to find something that I'm doing new and something interesting, check it out. But really, the support means the world to me. And every bit of support really helps, so I really encourage you guys to, help me out. And if you help me out through this time, I will certainly appreciate it. But I digress. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I know I did. And I will see you guys next stream. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.